Bearcat Band salutes head coach Luke Fickle and the entire number 6 Bearcat football team with "Give a Cheer." Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in singing the University of Cincinnati Alma Mater, conducted by Associate Band Director, Mr. Nicholas E. Angelis. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you remain standing. Place your hand over your heart, remove your hat, and join the Bearcat Band in honoring America. Please join the UC Bearcat Band in the singing of our national anthem, conducted by Director of Bearcat Bands, Mr. Christopher J. Nichter.
1, 2, 3.
Let's not sleep on Cincinnati. 11 wins a season ago.
Fickle took a lot of pride in saying he wants to build something special here.
Together, in our house, this is what we do.
Bearcat football is back.
Coming out, guns blazing. Right now, we ain't playing. We're coming out, guns blazing. Tell me, are you ready for this? We're coming out, blood burning. Right now, there's no mercy. We're coming out, so tell me now. Tell me, are you ready for this?
On a perfect day for football, welcome the unbeaten Bearcats back home to Nippert Stadium.
Dana is like scotch. You either really like him or you really don't. That is kind of his persona, but he is known as an offensive mastermind, and we certainly saw that during the 8 years he was the head coach at West Virginia. By and large, very good years there. 7 bowl trips in 8 years, and a couple of seasons where they went 10-3.
Yeah, they were fun to watch offensively. It's again, I mentioned a little bit that it's morphed, or I mentioned at the beginning rather that it's morphed a little bit. But at the same time, they still like to throw the ball around quite a bit. And you heard what Coach Fickle said. It's more of it's not just air it out. They've got a plan to what they're trying to do. And Dan, at the outset, we talked about what will they do if they can't move the ball on the Cincinnati offense. If anybody can, or defense rather, if anybody can figure out, it's Dana Holgorsen. He knows what he's doing with an offensive football team.
The two teams have exited their locker rooms. They are on the field. The Bearcats wearing black jerseys, white pants, black helmets today with uniform numbers on the side. Houston wearing all white for this road game. Cincinnati's coin toss captain is Darius Harper. Let's listen in.
Eisenhower's head, leader's tails. Tails. The heads, you won the toss. Cincinnati's won the toss. Let's show the further option until the second half.
Kicker Dalton Witherspoon incorrectly called the coin toss for the Cougars today. So
Houston will receive on this end to start the first quarter.
Cincinnati won, elected to defer, and we will see the spectacular Bearcat defense right off the bat.
Yeah, not only that, something that the anthem was coming in there at the end of the keys. The one thing that we cut off a little bit to give somebody their credit. Marcus Jones, who will be the return guy for Houston. He's leading the conference in punt returns. And Marquise Stevenson, who I had talked about, who was out and injured, does a really nice job on kickoff returns. Well, he won't be doing that today. So we are going to see Marcus Jones back there again. And this guy ran 4 kickoffs back for touchdowns, transferred from Troy. And so it's going to be very important. That's the point that I made, that not only James Smith, who's very good at getting high kicks and pinning people in spots where they can't return it, Cole Smith, the kickoff specialist, is going to have to do that today as well, I believe.
You may remember last year, Houston had a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback to begin the season, De'Aaron King. Then the Cougars got off to a slow start. They were 1-3, and head coach Dana Holgorsen encouraged several of his best seniors to redshirt in hopes that they would come back this year. And for a while, De'Aaron King was saying he would return for another year at Houston. And then in the third quarter of the national championship game last year, he tweeted out word that he planned to transfer. It obviously was a big story around the country at the time because he is such a good player. Wound up transferring to Miami, and if you were not watching the Hurricanes play last night against NC State, De'Aaron King passed for 430 yards, ran for 105, so he had 535 yards of offense and 5 touchdown passes in a 44-41 win.
I caught a good part of that game last night. That guy is unbelievable. That run, he had a touchdown run where he was going around the right end, cut back in, and boy, he broke through 3 or 4 tackles, outraced people to the end zone. He's just an athlete. He really, really special last night.
Marcus Jones and Demarion Williams go back to return this kickoff. Jones standing right at the goal line. That's the person that Houston wants to try to run it back. Cole Smith is ready. He approaches the ball at the 35-yard line, swings the right leg, and this game is underway. It's a very high, great hang time, end over end kick. It bounces 5 yards deep in the end zone. Marcus Jones does not bother to catch it. It's a touchback, and the Cougars will start from the 25-yard line.
Yeah, the fact that it was high, Jones absolutely knew that being 3 or 4 yards deep, he wasn't going to return it, and that ball hit 5 yards deep. So nice job by Cole Smith. And that's what you need to do. Either place it in the corner like he did so well against Memphis last week, or kick it through the end zone, which he did there to open this football game.
Houston's quarterback is junior Clayton Tune. He's averaging 330 passing yards per game. Kyle Porter begins the game at running back, lining up to the right of Tune. He's back to pass, throws to the left, caught at the 27-yard line, and Jarrell White immediately nails Keith Corbin after a pickup of 6 yards on the first play of the game.
Yeah, nice throw. Little bunch out there to the left side, and nice throw by Tune, long throw, but got a nice gain of 7 yards on first down.
Keith Corbin was one of those veteran guys that redshirted early last year and came back for really a second senior year. 2 years ago, he was one of the better wide receivers in the conference with 10 touchdown catches from De'Aaron King. Second down and a long 3 for Houston. 2 receivers left. It's a handoff, and Cincinnati will nail running back Kyle Porter after a gain of about 1.5 yards. Third down and 2 coming up. Marcus Brown clogging the middle there for UC.
Yeah, nice job by the run defense of Cincinnati. So it'll be third and a solid 2 here. And Bearcats have done a great job in the last 2 games on third down defense of getting the offense off the field.
Clayton Tune completing 62% of his passes this year, 8 touchdown passes, 4 picks. Third down and 2 as the Bearcats shift up front defensively. It's a handoff, and it's a first down for the Cougars as Kyle Porter, who ran for 107 against Cincinnati last year, makes it to the 38 for a 5-yard gain.
James Wiggins came up on that for the tackle and is rolling around on the ground holding his right arm, right shoulder. He came up and made that initial hit, and he went directly to the ground and is kind of down there on the ground rolling around, and medical folks giving him some attention.
So James, who missed all of last year when he tore his ACL 2 days before the season opener against UCLA, being looked at by the medical team, and again, it appeared to be an arm or shoulder injury, has nothing to do with the knee injury from last year.
Tony mentioned a key member of the starting lineup and mentioned James Wiggins and the impact that he had 2 years ago. Got him sitting up now. And one thing that Clayton Tune has done is thrown some interceptions in an untimely manner. And Wiggins is up and walking to the sideline, and we'll see what we can find out. But anyway, I think Tony made a good point. This would be the type of game where they can put some pressure on Clayton Tune, the quarterback, and make him throw the ball, and Wiggins is the type of guy that could come away with a pick. And we'll see the extent of his injury.
Dr. Angelo Colosimo is holding James Wiggins by the right elbow as they walk toward the bench. Brian Cook will replace James Wiggins at safety.
And taking him right to the medical tent.
Cook, the junior out of Mount Healthy High School, he transferred to UC after 2 years at Howard University. First and 10 for Houston, the Cougars at their own 38. This is a run play to the left. A gaping hole opens up, and Brian Cook will come up to tackle Kyle Porter at the 50-yard line after a 12-yard run.
Yeah, Kyle Porter, the leading rusher for Houston. Big hole off the left side there that time, and nice run support that time by Brian Cook. But still, first down on that that first down carry.
Houston lost its left tackle, Patrick Paul, to a season-ending injury a couple of games ago. Ruben Aniji is filling in, and he opened up a huge hole on the left side. 1st and 10 from midfield for the Cougars. They hand it off again, and this time Kyle Porter is stacked up near the line of scrimmage. He's strong enough, though, to run for 4 down to the Cincinnati 46 before the play is blown dead.
Yeah, absolutely. He looked like he was only going to get about 2 yards, and he was able to keep those legs going and get it down to the 46. Swarming defense, and Houston, though, offensively looks very quick right now, very quick.
Heavy dose of Kyle Porter thus far, 4 carries, 22 yards. He's carried the ball in the last 4 plays after an opening pass. Lines up to the left of the QB, Clayton Tune, who's 6'3", a junior from Carrollton, Texas. 2nd and 6. Tune will drop back to throw. It's a 5-man rush, quick pass, caught, and Brian Cook makes the stop on tight end Christian Trahan. Short of the first down, he goes out of bounds about 4 yards short.
Yeah, one of the things James Wiggins is very good at, certainly he can get there and break up the ball, intercept it, but his tackling this year has been superb. Brian Cook right there took a page out of his book, and that was an excellent open field tackle.
Mubakar will come in at running back, a bigger back. He's a 215-pounder, looks even bigger than that. Houston lines up in a pistol, 3rd down and 4 at the Bearcat 44. Clayton Tune against the blitz, throws off his back foot, caught by Mubakar, nailed at the line of scrimmage by Darian Beavers for no gain on 3rd and 4.
Yeah, I think the Bearcats right away knew that was a screen pass when they could see Tune backing up that way. Had it covered all the way, and we'll see Houston come in and punt the football and try to pin Cincinnati back inside their 10.
No team has scored an opening drive touchdown against this great Bearcat defense this year. In fact, the only team to score anything was Austin Peay with a field goal in the opening game of the year. Australian Lane Wilkins, in his first year as Houston's punter, waits for the long snap from Jacob Garza. Snap is shoulder high. Here comes the left-footed punt, a spinning end-over-end punt. It bounces at the 13, rolls backward, and Houston downs it at the 16-yard line. Just a 29-yard punt from Lane Wilkins from Perth, Australia. We have a timeout, 11:11 left, and no score in the first quarter here at Nippert Stadium. This is Bearcat football presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW. This week's U.S. Bank Scholar Athlete of the Week is Katrina Patterson of the UC Cross Country and Track and Field team. Not only is Katrina involved in the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, Powerful Minds, and NCAA Diversity and Inclusion, but she is top 10 in school history in 5 events. Congratulations to Katrina Patterson, the Bearcat Scholar Athlete of the Week, brought to you by U.S. Bank. We're about 4 minutes into the game here at Nippert Stadium. Cincinnati's defense stopping Houston after a couple of first downs on the Cougars' opening drive. And after a 29-yard punt, the Bearcats will take over at their own 16-yard line.
Yeah, decent field position, not a greatest punt in the world. Good awareness down there. A guy that I think is really playing some good football this year is kind of a sub, but has worked himself in due to injuries for some playing time with the ones, is Taj Ward. And he was a guy there, that ball was kicked off the side of the foot. He had the awareness to not only get out of the way of the football, but to get somebody else out of the way, that didn't hit somebody errantly. So nice job by Taj Ward. He's done a nice job so far this year.
While we were in the commercial break, James Wiggins was walked toward the locker room. He no longer had his right arm pinned against his side or anything like that. He was walking pretty normally, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be okay.
We will see. They did take him to the locker room after having him in the medical tent.
Tony.
Let's go down to Tony Pike.
Yeah, real quick on James Wiggins being told right now it's a shoulder, not the elbow. He was squeezing his hand as he walked back to the locker room, which is a good sign. He was moving the arm back and forth. Now you just kind of wait and see how the test in the locker room go. We'll update that as we go.
All right, Tony, thank you. 1st and 10 Bearcats. They're at their own 16-yard line. They come out with double tight ends, both on the right side, Leonard Taylor and Josh Wiley. The running back is Jared Dokes. Wiley motions to the left. Shotgun snap. Ritter hands it off to Dokes, charges right up the gut, and makes it to the 21 for a 5-yard pickup.
Well, interestingly enough, Tony mentioned the base defense that Houston plays with sending 4 guys up front and playing 2 high safeties. They got away from it there. They sent 7, and nice blocking up front by this offensive line that's becoming really solid. And Jared Dokes, had he broken 1 tackle, he would have found a lot of green underneath him.
Leonard Taylor exits. Cincinnati goes with 3 wide receivers on 2nd down and 5. Ritter looks to throw, fires toward the near sideline, caught by Michael Young, tackled immediately, but he's close to the 1st down. He's about a half-yard short with the ball just over the 25-yard line.
Yeah, they spotted him at the 26 initially, and the officials came walking back, and it's just over the 25. Length of a ball past that, so solid yard here. 3rd and 1 for the Bearcats, first one of the day.
And the Cats go double tight ends on 3rd and 1. Taylor and Wiley both on the right side of the line. Ritter in the gun. He sends a receiver in motion. That's Young. Ritter has the ball. It's a handoff to Dokes. Bursts through a hole. He's off to the races. 40, 50, sprinting down the near sideline. 40 to the 30, being chased from behind. They dive at his feet. He stays on his feet and gets tackled just short of the end zone.
How about that? Nice job by Jared Dokes and showing some speed there, too. Didn't think he was going to make it to the end zone, and he doesn't. But my goodness, he outran a few of the fastest guys on Houston's team. And remember, Carl Lewis played, well, he didn't play football here, but he went to the University of Houston. So these guys have a lot of speed out there. Nice job by Jared Dokes.
Marked down at the 3-yard line. That's a 72-yard run for Jared Dokes. The Cats have it 1st and goal at the 3. Desmond Ritter gives it to Jared Dokes, knifing into the middle of the line. He's down to the 2 for a hard yard. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 2.
Yeah, I was going to make the point. The Bearcats came into the day's game at 53.6 conversion on 3rd downs, and Jared Dokes took it 72 yards on a 3rd down. How about that for your first 3rd down conversion of the day? That's the way to do it.
Wyatt Fisher checks in at wide receiver. He lines up wide to the right. We'll see if he motions toward the formation and helps as a blocker. 2nd down and goal from the 2. Ritter in the gun. Dokes to his right. Here comes Fisher, lining up now as a wing to the right. They give it to Dokes. Fights into a pile of humanity and bursts into the end zone for a Bearcat touchdown.
Boy, it seemed like forever that we could see that if he could get to the right, he was going to be able to walk into the end zone. But there was a mass of bodies. That mass of humanity that you talked about was right there. He stayed behind him. There was no defenders there to grab him, and then he slid off to the right and got into the end zone. So well done by the Bearcats on their first drive of the day.
Touchdown number 9 in 6 games for Jared Dokes. 7 rushing, 2 receiving, and that one came after he had a 72-yard run that flipped the field. Cole Smith in to tack on the extra point. 8:51 left here in the first quarter. Cincinnati has jumped in front of Houston. The snap, the put down, the swing of the leg, the kick is up. It is good, and Cincinnati has taken a 7-0 lead after an 84-yard touchdown drive.
Yeah, well done. Nice job on the initial pass. Dokes running hard, and of course a 72-yard run doesn't help, but great job of Jared Dokes of getting the most out of that run that he could. The angles were there from the secondary, not to mention, again, those are the 4-4 guys back there in the secondary for Houston. And Dokes did a great job of getting the ball down inside the 5 to the 4, to the 3.
Jared's off to a good start.
Yeah.
That was a 5-play drive. 4 of the 5 plays were runs by Jared Dokes. They accounted for 80 yards. So 80 rushing yards on the opening drive of the game for Bearcat senior Jared Dokes from Indianapolis. Let's get on to Tony Pike.
How about Jared Dokes? Not only the long run, but he doesn't come out. He finishes the drive, and as Jim said, This is normally a four-man front. They're trying to stack the box. They almost broke it the first time. They did break it the second time. Defensively, Clayton Tune eyeballed every receiver he threw to last time. Watch for the Bengals or the Bearcats secondary to be a little more aggressive on those passes.
This kickoff fielded at the goal line by Marcus Jones. He runs it out, and he's not going to make it back to the 20. Great hang time by Cole Smith. Cincinnati got to Marcus Jones around the 18-yard line. Looked like Ty Van Fossen was the first guy down there.
Dan, you hit it right on the head, and it actually both kickoffs. It was the height of Cole Smith's kickoff, the first one, that I don't think it was deep enough. Well, I think it was deep enough that you could let it go, but at the same time, I honestly believe that I thought that they were going to run it back, and in this particular case, the height allowed the kickoff team to get down there and get this stop inside the 20.
1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. Mulba Carr in at running back. Clayton Tune throws a sideways pass that goes through the hands of the intended receiver, and it's incomplete.
We were sitting up here, Dan, watching Houston and Cincinnati warm up. Brad Ellis, our stats guy, now spotter, pointed out to me that the sun right now is an issue on the other side of the field looking back this way. And I think that had a little bit to do with that incompletion there. Not that it would have gained a lot of yardage, but you're looking directly back into the sun if you're on the left side, Houston's left side here.
2 receivers right, 1 left. 2nd and 10 Cougars from their own 19. A receiver goes in jet motion. They screen it out to him to the left, being chased by Kobe Bryant, who gets him out of bounds after a 1-yard gain at the 20-yard line.
Oh, nice job by Kobe Bryant. Bryson Smith tried to fake him, and Bryant just held his ground and wouldn't give the outside up. So nice job by Bryant. Gave up a half a yard, 1 yard, we'll call it.
3rd down and 9 for the Cougars. They're at their own 20. They are 1 for 2 so far on 3rd down conversions today. They'll send 3 receivers out to the right in a triangle-shaped bunch, and 1 receiver out to the left. Clayton Tune claps his hands, catches the shotgun snap, pocket closes, gets away from a hit as he escaped Sanders. Now he throws. It is caught by his tight end, but well short of the 1st down. Going out of bounds after a gain of 5 was Christian Trahan. There's a penalty flag back at the 13-yard line.
Yeah, thrown by the center judge back there. It looks like a holding call against the Cougars. Referee asking Luke Fickle, what do you want to do here? It's going to be 4th and 6. Make it 4th and 5.
Decline that.
Or you can take it, and they're going to go way back. So, I mean, they're going to decline it.
74. Offense. The penalties decline. 4th down.
I mentioned that Ruben Aniji has taken over at left tackle after the season-ending injury suffered a couple of weeks ago by Patrick Hall, and Aniji was the guilty party on the penalty.
So Christian Trahan made a nice catch on that. He'll get credit for it, but there was no way it was near a 1st down. And credit the pressure on Clayton Tune of causing that throw to be short.
Here comes the 2nd punt in 2 drives for Houston. Lane Wilkins waits back at the 10-yard line. Ryan Montgomery looking to return from the 35. There has not been a single return yard against the Cougars this year, and there won't be here as it's fair caught at the 31 by Montgomery, a 45-yard punt for Lane Wilkins. We have a timeout. We are midway through the 1st quarter. 7:28 on the clock. The Bearcats have the ball with a 7-0 lead. This is Bearcat football presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW.
At the original mattress
quarter. The Bearcats about to get the ball for the second time at their own 31 after driving 84 yards on 5 plays. The first time they had the ball, it was basically the Jared Doak show. 4 carries, 80 yards for Jared, including a 72-yard run and then a 2-yard touchdown run. Haven't seen much yet out of Desmond Ridder after a great game last week. 271 passing yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, 2 more touchdowns on the ground. Houston head coach Dana Holgorsen made an interesting comparison this week that I had never heard or seen before regarding Desmond Ridder, and I must say it's pretty good. He compared him to Colin Kaepernick, obviously before the anthem controversy, back when he was leading the 49ers to the Super Bowl. And when you think about it, a long, lean, dual threat quarterback, not known for being great in terms of his passing accuracy, but certainly capable. And I thought to myself, you know what, that's pretty good.
Well, he was great with the 49ers, but there was a lot of Nevada games on a couple of those years when Colin Kaepernick, and we would get home from games, road trips, or games here at Nippert at night, and I watched a ton of Nevada, and he impressed me beyond belief. And I read that same quote today, or yesterday, and Kaepernick's a little bit bigger than Des Ridder, but at the same time, very, very similar. And he really kind of, does a lot of the same things that Kaepernick was able to do, both at the collegiate level and at the NFL level.
Jerome Ford will be in at running back for the Bearcats' second drive after it was the Jared Doak show on the first. Doesn't mean Jared won't be back in shortly, but Jerome Ford is in for now after his big game last week. His first 100-yard rushing performance. 116 against Memphis, including 2 long touchdown drives in the fourth quarter. Before this drive begins, Bearcats are penalized.
Number 58, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Not the way you want to get started. Darius Harper hitched a little bit there, kind of just rocked in his stance, and Houston guys pointed it out immediately, and the flag came out.
So 1st and 15 for Cincinnati. The Bearcats have it at their own 26. 2 receivers right, 2 out to the left. Desmond Ridder looks to throw. Short pass. It is caught by Jones, but it's caught for a 2-yard loss. They tried to set up a screen to the right, and Houston got to Jordan Jones and made the stop.
Yep, there was that 4-man front with the double high safeties that Tony talked about. And because of the rushing that Cincinnati was able to do on that first drive, the running, they backed out of it, and that they played coverage there, and that's what blew that play up.
2nd and 17 after a 5-yard penalty and a 2-yard loss. Ridder will look to pass against a 4-man rush. He's going to fling it deep down the middle of the field for Jones. He missed him. He was open, and that might have gone for a 76-yard touchdown if the throw was on the money.
Yeah, it sure would have. I don't believe anybody would have caught Jordan Jones, but a little bit overthrown that time. Nice protection by the O-line on Desmond Ridder. He was able to step up in the pocket and get everything he wanted into it.
I want to check in with Tony Pike in just a moment about that particular throw. We'll get to Tony in just a bit when we can. 3rd down and 17 for the Bearcats at their own 24-yard line. 3 receivers left, 1 out to the right. Ridder back to throw. 3 rush, 8 in coverage. His pass caught at the 30 by Young. Tries to sprint up the near sideline and does, but not enough to get the first down. He's about 3 yards short at the 38. Tony, on that deep ball that was incomplete for Jordan Jones, should Desmond Ridder be rainbowing that more than he does?
Yes, it's always based on the coverage, and we talk about cover 4. In cover 4, the safety is all you have to worry about. The safety was flat-footed, so all you had to worry about if you're Des Ridder was the corner who was outside of the receiver. So you had the whole length of the field where the field is shaded here to just lead the receiver away and put the ball in the air as high as you can, as far as you can, let him run under it. It's a touchdown for the Bearcats.
Too much of a line drive throw, and it fell incomplete. James Smith into punt. He just punted, but it won't count. The Bearcats are going to pick up another 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, that's something the Bearcats have done a great job. Dead last in the league last year, and for a period of time we're dead last in the country. And they've improved that immensely this year. Only averaging about 68 yards on the game, but 10 or 2 5-yarders back-to-back here.
Here comes the punt from Smith. He hammers it. Marcus Jones backpedaling, catches at the 16-yard line. He is hemmed in, but he dances sideways, now accelerates, and will get pulled down around the 28-yard line. Cincinnati seemingly hemmed him in. We can see why Marcus Jones leads the league in punt return average, a 52-yard punt, a 12-yard return.
Yeah, it came in averaging 16 yards per return. That's hard to do, particularly the way that these guys practice those high punts in the coverage teams, particularly Bearcats with an excellent coverage team. Nice return there.
So each team has had the ball twice. Cincinnati leading Houston 7-0. Cougars take over at their own 29, and they will put Kyle Porter back in at running back after Mulbacar was in on the previous series. 2 receivers right, 1 left for quarterback Clayton Tune. Tune hands it off. There's a hole up the middle, but nice job by Joel DeBlanco to dive at the thighs of Kyle Porter and bring him down after a gain of about 4.
I agree with you, Dan. It looked like he was going to get through that hole, and DeBlanco came off his block, made that tackle. Brian Cook came up from the safety spot to make sure that Porter couldn't get another yard, and did pick up 4, so that's a decent pickup on first down for Houston. Cougars came in at 45% on third downs. Of course, it's only second right now, but the Bearcats have done a good job of stopping them so far today on 1 out of 3.
7-0 Cincinnati, 5:15 to go first quarter. Tune back to throw, wants to fire. His pass caught at the 41. First catch of the day for Nathaniel Dell, and he makes it to the 42-yard line for a 9-yard pickup. Dell had a big game last week. 6 catches, 88 yards in the loss to UCF.
A little turn in that time, and did a real nice job there. And Tune was looking at him the whole way. The Bearcats couldn't put any pressure on Clayton Tune that time. He delivers the strike to Nathaniel Dell.
His nickname is Tank. It's certainly not for his physique. 5'10", 155. Very, very fast. 1st and 10 as a receiver goes in jet motion. It's a run play up the middle, and Kyle Porter is nailed near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, nice job there. Good teamwork. Marcus Brown, as well as Jarrell White, both of them there. Great job. No gain. They'll actually rule that a loss of 1 yard, so tackle for loss.
Clock running with
call it no gain.
Clock running, 4:15 to go first quarter. 7-0 Cincinnati. Now the Cougars will send 3 receivers out in a bunch to the left between the hash marks and the numerals. The running back Porter shifts from the quarterback's right to his left. Tune will drop straight back to throw, and he gets drilled as Cincinnati had an unblocked rusher coming from the edge. It was Sauce Gardner, and just as Tune looked up, he got popped from the Bearcats cornerback.
Sure did. I think he hurt his arm as well. And he's kind of, that left shoulder of his dangling it a little bit. So the Bearcats had a similar blitz last week that created a fumble where James Wiggins, who kind of looked like he was in coverage, came off the edge and was able to take Brady White and knock the ball out of his hands. This time, Sauce Gardner off the corner blitz gets the big sack.
9-yard sack for Sauce Gardner. And it's 3rd down and 19 for Houston. Tune throws a screen, caught by the running back Porter, charging up the near sideline. Ponder has him, and they knock him down at the 40-yard line after a 7-yard pickup on 3rd and 19.
Yep, leaving quite a bit short. Smart, easy throw there. Let the running back try to get some yardage for you, but the Bearcats weren't fooled at all, and they weren't going to give it up. 4 of them there. Ponder makes the initial hit, gets a little bit of help from his teammates, and Houston will punt again, 3rd time.
Sauce Gardner checked out by the medical staff after that sack, so it wasn't only the quarterback who was feeling the effects of that collision. Here comes the 3rd punt of the first quarter. Wow, a boomer. This one will be fair caught on the run at the 14-yard line, a 46-yard punt with tremendous hang time by Lane Wilkins. We have a break on the field, 2:29 remaining here in the first quarter. Cincinnati gets the ball back, leading 7-0. This is Bearcat football presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW. first drive, punted on their second. Let's check in with Tony.
Yeah, they're looking at Ahmad Gardner's neck, shoulder area. Looks like probably something like a stinger, the collision he had with Clayton Tune. I am going to say this, Clayton Tune is going to have a long afternoon if he continues to stare down receivers, not only because you run the risk of a defender jumping out and intercepting the pass, you also run the risk of what you saw there where you don't have any idea what's coming to the other side of the field. So for Clayton Tune, if he continues to stare down receivers, it's going to be bad for a lot of different ways for him over the course of this game.
Bearcats intercepted him 3 times last year in Houston. Javon Hicks, Kobe Bryant, and Perry Young, who had a pick 6 in the Bearcats' victory in Houston.
Yeah, he definitely was targeting the other side of the field and didn't see Gardner coming till the last second.
That sack for Sauce, the first of his college football career. To go with the 6 interceptions he's had already in a year and a half in a Cincinnati uniform. If he keeps this up, Mike Mickens' school record of 14 could be in jeopardy by the time Sauce Gardner is finished.
And if you look at that, it's not something you pre-design and call from the sideline. Because of the way Tune's kind of honing in, particularly that 3 little cluster that Houston uses, he throws that way a lot, and so Gardner had the option there to cover his guy if he saw it coming his way. He opted not to. Safety help was coming over in case they did throw back that way. And boy, he did a great job of collision. And I think, as we just stated, banged up a little bit of both of them. Gardner, a little bit of a stinger, and Clayton Tune shaking that left arm.
As the Houston defense walks out onto the field, it's impossible not to pick out Olivier Charles-Pierre, the nose guard, who tips the scales at 370 pounds, one of the biggest players in college football. Big immovable object in the middle of that defense. 1st and 10 from the 15. Ritter throws, caught by Tucker, escapes a tackle, tight ropes the sideline, then gets pushed forward by Josh Wiley, almost like Wiley was making the tackle, and he knocked Tucker forward to the 22 for a 7-yard, make it the 23 for an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, Tucker's a playmaker. That looked like it was going to be a 3-yard reception. He was going to be pushed out of bounds. He was able to keep his feet in bounds, break a tackle, and get 7.
Bearcats playing without Alec Pierce, who suffered a shoulder injury last week. Jordan Jones getting his spot right now. Here's a handoff up the middle, and again a gaping hole opens up for Dokes as Jared sprints to the 37-yard line for a 15-yard gain. He's closing in on a 100-yard rushing performance in the first quarter.
Well, I'll tell you what, they played 4-man front that time like Tony was talking about earlier, but great job that time of blocking into the second level to allow Dokes to get that first down.
5 carries, 95 yards in the first quarter for Jared Dokes. We're down to a minute and a half to go. Ritter on 1st and 10 passes Dokes, wheel route wide open, catches, and flies forward for a first down. He makes it to the Houston 48-yard line.
Well, I think you ought to just line him up and let him throw the football now. He's doing everything else, Jared Dokes. He's got roughly 100 yards. He's got a touchdown. The 72-yard run there. He makes a nice reception on a really hard-thrown ball. So that was a nice catch by a running back.
15 yards on the play, so 110 yards of offense in the first quarter for Dokes. He's out. Jerome Ford is in. We're down to 1 minute to go. Bearcats leading 7-0 first quarter. Ritter with a play-action fake. Has time, flings it deep downfield for Ja'Shawn Jackson, and he dropped it at the 15-yard line. His defender fell down. Ja'Shawn Jackson had all day to settle under it and make the catch, and he dropped it.
Well, he was looking to the inside. He saw where the ball was going, was able to adjust and look back to the outside. But by the time he got his head flipped around and got his hands extended, the ball trickled off his fingertips. Boy, that was so close.
Great throw by Desmond Ritter.
Yes, it was.
Stops the clock with 53 seconds to go here in the first quarter. 2nd and 10 Bearcats at the 48 of Houston. Ritter looking toward the sideline, now walks up to the offensive line. Play clock down to 3. Desmond is ready. Renfro snaps it back. Ritter hands it off to Ford, and Jerome is stopped for no gain.
And nothing there that time. Houston playing run all the way, and block's not sustained up front to create some room, and now Houston will send a little quicker package in there.
Grant Stewart in on that tackle. We don't need to see a uniform number for him. He leads the American Athletic Conference in hair. Big, bushy hairdo that basically covers the entire number on the back of his uniform. 3rd down and 10 at the 48 of Houston. Stewart showing blitz. Ritter looking to throw, fires over the middle, and it's broken up. Marcus Jones getting his right arm around Trey Tucker to deflect that pass away.
Yeah, probably could have been thrown a little bit more out in front of him. I thought Houston jumped and was offsides on that. No call whatsoever, and the Bearcats will be forced to punt for the second time.
So the drop by Ja'Shawn Jackson proves costly. Had it in his hands at the 15-yard line and did not squeeze it. James Smith into punt for the second time today. 14 seconds left, first quarter. Marcus Jones back to return, came into the game averaging 16 yards per punt return to lead the American Athletic Conference. The snap, the punt. Houston came fairly close to blocking it. This one bounces at the 8, and Cincinnati's coverage team did not see the ball, and it bounces into the end zone. Yeah, a rarity for James Smith. That's his 216th career punt, and just the third time one has gone into the end zone. On the other hand, there was a player right there to possibly block it for Houston. Zamar Curvin came in more or less unblocked.
Sure did.
Kind of shied away. Looked like he was worried about getting called for a roughing the punter penalty.
And Kobe Bryant was the guy down there, and I think he kind of thought Marcus Jones was going to handle the football, stayed more to the inside of the field. The ball was actually outside of him. He was right there, but he couldn't locate the football.
48 yards on the punt, but only 20 net. Here's a first down run play up the middle, and DeBlanco makes the stop on Mulbacar after a gain of 3. And that'll be the final play of the first quarter. At the end of one, Cincinnati 7, Houston nothing. This is Bearcat football, presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW.
Balanced, but not a lot of yardage yet. 20 yards rushing, 29 yards through the air for a total of 49 yards in the first quarter.
If you're just tuning in, Cincinnati lost its great safety, James Wiggins, early in this game with a shoulder injury. Hopefully nothing too serious after James missed all of last year.
I'm watching Dr. Angelo Colosimo, who's the Bearcats orthopedic surgeon, is walking to the locker room, and I'm wondering if they're going to try to make some sort of decision on Wiggins, who's still in the locker room. Guessing he's probably received an X-ray.
Bearcats blessed to have incredible depth at that position. You look at Javon Hicks. He took over for James Wiggins last year. Led the league in interceptions with 5. Forced 2 fumbles. Recovered 4 fumbles. Was honorable mention all-conference as a sophomore. And then he's out of the starting lineup this year because Wiggins returned. Still plays a lot, but doesn't have that starting spot after being an all-league player.
Yeah, it was one heck of a season he had last year. And he's done a great job this year. He's just not getting as many snaps. You hit it right on the head, Dan. Finds himself in there now with Wiggins in the training room.
7-0 Bearcats. We get set for the start of the second quarter. Houston will have the ball at the 23-yard line, 2nd down and 7. To begin the second, quarterback Clayton Tune, 7 for 8 in the first quarter. That sounds good. But he was dinking and dunking. A total of 29 yards on the 7 completions, about 4 yards per catch.
You know, that's what they do for the most part, but they have guys that can run with it after the catch. The good part is the Bearcats have done a nice job of not allowing any of those yards.
Cougars will line up with 2 receivers out to the right, outside the numerals, and 1 receiver out to the left. The running back to begin the quarter will be Mulbacar. They have been rotating Mulbacar and Kyle Porter thus far. Clayton Tune is ready. Sends a receiver in motion. That's Bryson Smith. They screen it to Smith out to the left, hemmed in by Javon Hicks, and tackled for a loss at the 19-yard line. That play lost 4.
Yeah, again, you mentioned their average per completion of 4 yards, Dan, before. That's the same type of play that they've been picking up those 3 and 4 yards on. And fortunately for the Bearcats, this one takes them back, and they lost 4 yards, as you indicated. Takes them back beyond the first chain, so 3rd and 11 for the Bearcats.
Bryson Smith exits. Speedster Jeremy Singleton enters. He is the lone receiver out to the left. Now he goes in motion. 3 receivers out to the right. Clayton Tune on 3rd down and 11. With the play clock at 4. Cincinnati showing pressure up the middle. DeBlanco is coming. Tune wants to fire downfield. It is caught for a first down out to the 40-yard line. Keith Corbin on the catch. And Taj Ward shoves him out of bounds at the 41 after a 22-yard gain.
Yeah, nice combination route there with a little bit of a, not necessarily a pick, but a rub. Well done, and it's a hard one to cover. And Taj Ward out there, but couldn't recover enough to break that ball up. And just catch is made, throws him out of bounds.
First gain of 20-plus for Houston in the game. Again, it went for 22 to Keith Corbin, his 2nd catch. And the Cougars have a first down at their own 41-yard line. They converted on 3rd and 11. High snap, caught by a leaping Tune, hands it off to Carr, and a great job by Curtis Brooks to grab him with his left arm and hold on one-handed until a teammate could help polish off the tackle after a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, it was nicely done. It looked like it was going to be, Carr was going to be able to break out of that tackle and pick up some additional yardage, but well done. Dan, back to the previous play, the pass completion that picked up the first down. Cincinnati really did go after Clayton Tune, and that offensive line protected him very well on that previous play.
2nd and 8 now for the Cougars. We're 2 minutes into the third quarter. The Bearcats, second quarter rather, the Bearcats leading 7-zip. Tune of a play action fake, but the play is blown dead.
You know, Bearcats showed blitz that time, and they got Houston to flinch a little bit. That'll get the Cougars back 5, set the Cougars back 5. It'll be 2nd and 13.
False start. Number 77. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Second and 13 after the 5-yard penalty. Cougars have it at their own 38. Clayton Tune is ready for the shotgun snap. A receiver goes in jet motion. That is Smith. He lines up to the left. Now under pressure, Tune throws. It is caught, and Mulbacar will be tackled by Joel DeBlanco at the 36. A 2-yard loss on that play.
Again, that's what Houston does, those little short passes, and some of the pressure was by design to allow the Cincinnati defensive front in there. It was a little bit different screen look, but nonetheless still considered a screen pass. But great job there by the Cincinnati defense of not allowing the running back to catch the ball outside of you and make some yardage.
That was Myjai Sanders who put the heat on quarterback Clayton Tune, forcing him first to run for his life before dumping off the short pass. So it is 3rd down and 15 for the Cougs. Bearcats will have a single high safety about 15 yards downfield as Clayton Tune drops back to throw. His short pass goes through the hands of Singleton. A diving attempt by Kobe Bryant to come up with a pick. He can't. It hit the ground, but The Bearcats will force Houston to punt it again.
Yeah, high throw, but Singleton's got to catch that. That ball's very catchable. Jeremy Singleton let the ball go right through his hands, and Kobe Bryant tried to get there, couldn't quite make it.
Taj Ward popping Singleton after the incompletion, so he might have been hearing footsteps when he failed to catch that throw. Lane Wilkins in to punt again. He's been busy. The snap and the punt. Extremely high, a spiral that does not turn over, and another fair catch at the 25 by Ryan Montgomery. 39 yards on the punt. We can see why Houston has not allowed a punt return yard all season. Wilkins punts it very high. We have a timeout. 11:49 left in the half. The Bearcats have the ball at their own 25 with a 7-0 lead. This is Bearcat football, presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW.
does the smart thing on the RPO. He throws it out to Lenny Taylor and lets him catch the ball and pick up a first down.
1st and 10 at the Cougars' 32-yard line. 3 receivers left, 1 right. Desmond Ritter caused early movement up front.
Yeah, a little flinch.
6. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It would be a flinch of the football by Jake Renfro, the center.
The true freshman starting his 3rd game in a row. Might have Wally pipped Shakari Robinson, who's been a very solid player for Cincinnati, but Jake Renfro has been excellent since taking over. 1st and 15 after that 5-yard penalty from the Houston 37. Here's a handoff and running room around the near sideline, but Jared Dokes gets driven out of bounds at the 35, a gain of 2.
Houston did a good job of pushing that out wide, and Dokes looked like he was going to get the edge. And when he got to the edge, he couldn't get there. He just kept pushing it out further, and they did a nice job of just allowing him to get one yard. 3rd and 14. 2nd and 14.
Yep, second down. Yep. 9:37 left, 2nd quarter. 7-0 Cincinnati. The Bearcats are in Cougars territory. They've driven from their own 25 to the Houston 36. Josh Wiley motions, lines up behind the right tackle. The Bearcats fake a handoff, short throw, caught by Wiley. He's at the 30, 25. He's tackled there, setting up 3rd down and 3.
Great block there by Jay-Sean Jackson to allow Josh Wiley to get started on that. He only would have had about 2 yards. It looked like he was going to be taken down right at the 30. And Jay-Sean Jackson got a screen block there, allowed Wiley to cut in, back off his inside, off his butt, off his hip, and that got Wiley to pick up the additional yardage. Ball down to the 25. Additional 5 yards with that little brush block by Jay-Sean Jackson.
Speedy true freshman Jaden Thompson is checked in as one of 2 receivers out to the right. Ritter catches the shotgun snap, fakes a handoff, short pass dropped by Jackson. There's a scramble for the football at the 30-yard line. They did not mark that a forward pass. It was marked a lateral as a fumble and a short throw to Jay-Sean Jackson.
I do believe that was a forward pass.
Not
by
so
much.
Well.
Yeah.
Cincinnati recovered as Josh Wiley was at the bottom of the pile, but it's a loss on the play of 4 yards because it was not ruled an incomplete pass.
Well, that's one I think they're going to look at. I really believe that was a forward pass and should have been an incompletion. And Luke Fickle is out there making that point right now. And see if he gets what he wants.
The ruling on the field was a backwards pass. The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't much forward, but it only has to go forward, a yard, a foot.
If it's ruled an incomplete pass, there's a decent chance the Bearcats go for it on 4th and 3. Oh, that's not even close.
No,
We've just seen a replay.
2 to 2.5 yards.
Yeah, up the field. It wasn't even
lateral,
much less backward. So that's going to get overturned. That'll be an incomplete pass. And now the Bearcats will have to try to decide 4th and 3. Go for it or attempt a 40-yard field goal. At least that's what we expect will happen. We have a timeout on the field. 8:23 left in the 2nd quarter. Cincinnati leading Houston 7-0. It's Bearcat football presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW. As expected, the officials recognized the error of their ways. After looking at the replay, it was clearly a forward pass. So it's not a fumble, it's an incompletion. And as a result, the Bearcats do not lose 4 yards on the play. It creates 4th down and 3 at the 25-yard line. So here's the decision. attempt a 42-yard field goal for a guy who's only tried 2 all year, or go for it on 4th down and 3, not far from the red zone.
Bearcats are clustered right between their 30 and 35, right off their bench, and they've got the field goal unit there as well as the full offense and some extras.
I bet they'll go for it.
Well, that's been what they do. They're 83.3% on 4th down conversions this year. That's not that many of them, 5 out of 6, but they've been very good at it. And Luke Fickell, we know the aggressive nature that he has, and I would guess they'll go for it. I think he's talking to Mike Denbrock right now, the offensive coordinator, and saying, what do you feel good about? Can you get this? And Coach Denbrock is saying, I got this play right here that I'm positive we can, pick these 3 yards up, whether it's a run, whether it's a pass. Kind of always got those plays. You got those 2-point conversion plays in your back pocket. We'll see what they do here. They are going for it. At least that appears, unless they try to pull Houston off sides to maybe get 5 free yards that way.
Bearcats are going to have 2 tight ends in the game, Leonard Taylor and Josh Wiley. They both stack up to the left. Trey Tucker and Michael Young out to the right. The running back is Dokes. Ritter in the gun on 4th and 3 at the Houston 25. Wiley motions from left to right. Ritter back to throw. Throws. He's got a man wide open. One-handed catch by Dokes. Tight ropes the sideline for the first down and gets tackled at the Houston 13-yard line. Great catch by Jared Dokes.
Man, he is racking up the MVP points for this game, isn't he? And Ritter was really pressured that time, did a good job of getting the ball off before taking the bulk of that hit, and the rest of it was Dokes. One-handed catch with his left hand, brought it into his body, and was able to get it down there for the first down.
The player that tackled him was hurt on the play and is getting medical attention at the 10-yard line, so we have a break in the action as a result. It's going to be 1st down and 10 at the 13-yard line as the Bearcats have entered the Toyota Red Zone, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com for all Toyota offers. Toyota, let's go places. The injured player is Giovanni Stewart. We'll take a timeout. 8:39 left in the half. 7-0 Cincinnati on News Radio 700 WLW. After being looked at by the training staff, so he'll be out for at least a play. The Bearcats have it 1st and 10 in the red zone at the 13-yard line of Houston. Second red zone trip of the day for the Cats. They scored inside the Toyota red zone the first time they had the ball on a 2-yard run by Jared Dokes, who's having a spectacular first half. 95 rushing yards on 6 carries, 27 receiving yards on 2 catches.
Yeah, he did a great job there. And got to give an assist to Desmond Ritter. He was being pressured, threw the ball off 1 foot. Not the greatest throw in the world, but got it in the direction of Jared Dokes, who was alone. He goes up with his left hand, brings the ball back into his body, uses his right hand to make sure he got it, then spun to get additional yards, and that's where the injury took place as he was knocked out of bounds. But Bearcats Ball in the red zone now, just outside, well, they're outside the 13-yard line, right on the 13.
Doak's averaging 15 yards every time he touches the ball. So far today, highlighted by a 72-yard run. 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. Double tight ends in for Cincinnati, both on the right side. Cincinnati hands it off to Doakes, goes low, and makes it down to about the 10-yard line, a little bit shy of the 10, a gain of 3.
I'm going to go back to what Tony said a while ago, that it was screaming for Des Ritter to hang on to the football. Des ended up doing that a couple of plays, and I watched the defensive end crash that time. And I don't know, maybe Des didn't have the option, but if he pulls that ball, he's at least to the 5-yard line, if not in the end zone.
Tucker and Young out to the left. Jones and Wiley out to the right. Jayshawn Jackson out of the game. He's had butterfingers early in this game. On 2nd down from the Houston 10, Ritter fakes a handoff, running to the left, headed toward the end zone. High steps his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Bearcats, as Desmond Ritter sprints in from 10 yards away.
So he saw what I saw the previous play. That is exactly the same thing. And what Ritter was able to do there was watch that end. He was going to read the end. If the end stays out, he gives the ball to Doakes. In this case, the end comes down, or the D lineman. And, boy, Ritter does a great job. And he got some help downfield again by his receivers, doing a great job of blocking.
75-yard touchdown drive for the Bearcats. The decision to go for it on 4th and 3 at the 25 obviously paid off. The Cats get 6, probably 7 instead of 3. As Desmond Ritter scores again. That's 6 rushing touchdowns this year and 16 in his Bearcat career.
Dan, that is so right. They could have settled for an easy 3, which, honestly, not an easy 3. You got to make the field goal. But that's not their DNA right now. It's go for it, and let's get this first down. Let's take it in, and let's convert this to a touchdown. And that's exactly what the Bearcats have done. That's what's, it's been a weird year, as we all know. And it's not exactly the beginning of the season, but there's still a lot of football to play. But you're starting to see what this team is made of, and that's one of the things right there that is very, very good about what they do. They know what they want to do, and they're able to get it.
An injured player down for Houston. It's safety Deontay Anderson, a transfer from Ole Miss. Late on that touchdown run by Desmond Ritter, he dove, trying to tackle him by the shoes, and I don't know if he got spiked or his hand or wrist got caught under his body as he tried to make that tackle, but medical staff has been looking at Deontay Anderson since the touchdown, and now he's on his feet and walking toward the Houston sideline. That was a 10-play, 75-yard scoring drive. It took 3 minutes and 56 seconds. The Bearcats on the verge of going up by 14 as Cole Smith looks to tack on the extra point. Kason Pfeiffer snaps it back. James Smith puts it down. Cole Smith, no relation, kicks it through. And it is 14-0 Cincinnati. 7:53 left in the half. The Bearcats have had the ball 4 times, scored a pair of touchdowns. Houston's had it 4 times and punted every time.
Yeah, it's been very, very good defense for the Bearcats. We're almost to the halfway point of the second quarter in Houston with not a lot of yards so far.
Desmond Ritter, 95 passing yards, 21 rushing yards. To go with the great numbers for Jared Doakes so far, as Doakes has rushed for 98, and he also has 27 receiving yards.
That Houston breakdown was 67 total yards through a quarter and a half so far, so the Bearcat defense doing it again. 20 on the ground and 47 rather through the air. 22 on the ground.
See if we get another extremely high kickoff from Cole Smith. He approaches the ball at the 35, the ball straight up and down on the tee, and sure enough, looks more like a punt than a kickoff. Way up in the air, fielded at the 9. This is Jones running it back to the 20, 25, 30. Cole Smith grabs him and spins him to the sideline at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it was a very short kick. There was definitely the height, but I absolutely think that Marcus Jones, because of how short it was, he said, I'm going to run this one back anyway, and he does. He gets it well beyond where it would have been on if he fair catches it, he gets it out to the 35. So plus 10 on that by Marcus Jones.
14-0 Cincinnati. Houston has it at the 35-yard line. Pistol formation for the Cougs. Toon catches the shotgun snap, turns right, hands it off. Porter running up the middle, and he'll be tackled by the lower legs by Brian Cook at the 42. He ran for 7.
You know, Bearcats guessed that time. Jarrell White, Myjai Sanders off the right side, off the what at that time would have been the field side, the wider side of the field, and Houston went to the short side, and nice run that time. Good pickup of 8 yards.
Brody Engel is in at linebacker, the sophomore from LaSalle, giving Darian Beavers a break. Second down and a long 2 for the Cougars at their own 43-yard line. 2 receivers right, 1 out to the left. Toon hands it off. And this time the Bearcats will not allow Kyle Porter to pick up the first down. He stopped a little bit short. It's going to be 3rd and about a half a yard.
And 2 out of 6 on the day for the Cougars. They're getting to the line quick. I'm sure they're going to try to quick snap this one and pick up the half yard.
Kyle Porter is a Texas transfer, and he played for the Longhorns, got into 27 games. Part of a team that won the Sugar Bowl over Georgia a couple of years ago. 3rd down and short. They play action fake. Deep ball down the middle of the field. A leaping catch made. No, it's ruled incomplete.
No, he dropped it, then caught it again on the second time on the rebound.
Cincinnati 22. So Bryson Smith going way up in the air to grab the ball. When he landed on his back, it popped out of his hands, but then it fell right back to
into
him.
his chest, correct.
And it's a big gain on 3rd and less than a yard. 34 yards to Bryson Smith.
It's a good throw and a good catch.
And the Cougars have it at the Cincinnati 22-yard line. Toon catches a high snap. Hands it off to Porter. Porter will be pulled down by Myjai Sanders at the 21-yard line, a 1-yard gain.
That's what this team does so well, is they're sure tacklers. And, you know, when I mentioned Myjai Sanders to you, what does he do well? Well, he rushes the passer, gets a sack here and there, puts pressure on the quarterback. There, on a run, which looked like it was going to get to the edge and pick up significant yardage, he runs the ball carrier down and stops him for a half-yard gain.
2-by-2 formation with the ball on the right hash. 2nd down and 9 at the Cincinnati 21. 5.5 minutes to go as the running back goes in motion. Toon runs a quarterback draw. It opens up in the middle of the field. DeBlanco makes the stop at the 18, so it only went for a 3-yard gain. Good reaction by Joel DeBlanco.
Yeah, Clayton Toon not afraid to run the football. He's not a great runner, but certainly that was a designed run all the way. That wasn't, I'm going to go back and throw the ball. Oh, my goodness, I got to scramble. No, that was quarterback draw all the way. So big 3rd and 5 here for the Bearcats. This would be a huge one to force a field goal attempt. Keep it 3rd and long or 3rd and medium.
14-0 Cincinnati is the score. The Cougars in the red zone for the first time today. Bryson Smith motions. It's a running play for Porter, trying to run wide to the left, and he's tackled short of the first down.
Yep.
He's short by about a yard, maybe a yard and a half. Jarrell White on the stop.
Whole Houston offense pleading with the bench. Let's go for this, and they are.
4th and 1. Clayton Toon ready for the shotgun snap. Cincinnati wasn't set on defense,
No,
and the
sure
Cougars are going to pick up the first down and more as Kyle Porter runs inside the 5, gets tackled by Forrest and Gardner at the 3.
Yeah, Bearcats were scrambling to get back to their spots. Houston goes to the line quickly again. They're going to keep Bearcats back on their heels.
1st and goal from the 3. Toon hands it off. Porter running up the middle, and he goes in standing up for a Cougars touchdown before getting pushed over about 5 yards into the end zone after he clearly had the TD.
Well, they made those last 18 yards look very, very easy. The catch, a good one. The throw, a good one. Bearcats played decent defense there. Houston made a play, give them credit. But then the Cougars, on those last 18 yards, once they got inside the red zone, they really took it to the Bearcats.
Dalton Witherspoon, one of the best kickers in the American. 32 career field goals to his credit. He's made 80% of his career field goal attempts. This kick is on its way. It is good. And Cincinnati's lead has been sliced in half. 14-7 Bearcats. We have a timeout on the field. 4:17 left in the second quarter. And this is Bearcat football presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW. Today, the team that Cincinnati beat here at Nippert Stadium last week, Memphis, looked like there was a hangover effect from that game for a while today at home against USF. Memphis Tigers, a big favorite, trailed by 2 touchdowns at halftime. But Memphis came back to win 34-33.
SMU in a tight one with Temple for a while, and SMU pulled way ahead towards the end of that game.
47-23, the final in that game.
In Philadelphia.
Temple led it 13-7 in the first half. And it was 20-16 at the end of the third quarter. And then SMU scored 4 straight touchdowns in the fourth, as the Mustangs improved to 7-1.
Navy and Tulsa scheduled to play today and called because of COVID.
14-7, Cincinnati leading Houston. The Cougars going 65 yards on 8 plays. The big play, 3rd and short. They threw it deep for a 34-yard gain. Clayton Tune to Bryson Smith. Then they ran it in from there.
Yeah, that put the Bearcats in a man situation down the field. Bryson Smith got open, but the key to that was the offensive line for Houston. Bearcats really went after Clayton Tune on that one and could not get to him. And Bryson Smith did a great job, went up, made a catch on a high ball. When he hit the ground, the ball popped straight up into the air, but it never hit the ground. It landed back in his chest, so he caught it actually 2 times. The final time, the one that counted.
Bearcats getting a lot of exposure today. Today's game televised by ABC. One thing that's become very noticeable is that they sell more commercials on ABC than they do on some of the other networks that Cincinnati has played on, because the breaks for commercials have been extremely long. Bubba Baxa kicks off for Houston. He's a kickoff specialist, a transfer from the University of Miami. This spinning end-over-end kick will go into the end zone. Trey Tucker will take a knee. So the Bearcats will have it at the 25-yard line, looking to add to a 7-point lead.
I looked for this number before, Dan, and I couldn't find it. Maybe you know it. How many transfers are on this squad?
That's a good question. I did not count.
I didn't go through and count them either. I looked for a little note, because there's a lot of them.
I can tell you that last year, in Dana Holgerson's first year as the head coach, they had 16 in his first recruiting class. I don't know how many they added this year. But he has said his strategy basically is to take 50% of his recruits from the transfer market, figuring that that's the way to get elite talent coming home to Texas. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line for the Bearcats. Ball on the right hash. Ritter drops back to pass, inches up in the pocket, scrambling right, throws. Caught by Wiley at the 35, lowers the shoulder, knocks over the guy trying to tackle him, and picks up about 14 yards.
Javarius Owens was that guy he ran over. A nice job by Ritter of avoiding any. There was pressure there, but he stepped up in the pocket, looked real calm and cool there, threw a strike to Wiley for the first down.
Second catch, 25 yards so far for Josh Wiley. 1st and 10 Cincinnati from the 39-yard line. 3:49 left in the second quarter. 14-7 Bearcats is the score. Here's a handoff to Dokes, slaloming up the middle of the field, and he makes it to the 43 for a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, nice finish there by Jared Dokes. Didn't have a whole lot of running room. We've seen him with a lot bigger holes already today, but that time he did it on his own. It puts him over 100 yards on the day, that 4-yard carry. 102 on 8 carries, not bad.
And that is his third 100-yard rushing performance this year. They've come in the last 4 games. We still have more than a half to go. His career high is 149. On second down, here's a quick pass caught on the near sideline by Jones, and he'll pick up first down yardage in Cougars territory as he's taken out of bounds at the 48.
Yeah, Demarion Williams was over there in coverage, and I'm telling you, Jordan Jones was almost broke that one. I don't think he'd have gone the distance. The safeties had angles on him, but he almost came out of that and picked up additional yardage. But nonetheless, as you mentioned, Danny got the first down.
That was a 9-yard gain on second down and 6. Bearcats have it 1st and 10 at the 48. of the Cougars. Two deep safeties for Houston. Ritter catches the shotgun snap, delayed handoff. Dokes bursting up the middle of the field for a first down as Jared picks up 13 down to the 35 of Houston.
Well, that was an old-fashioned draw play or delay, and you don't see those very often today. And Jared Dokes looked a step quicker than I've ever seen him on that play. He really came out of there, and that's a nice pickup for another first down at the 35.
9 carries, 115 yards for Jared Dokes. First and 10 at the 35 of Houston. 2:15 left in the half. Cincinnati up by 7. Ritter gives it to Dokes, trying to bounce it wide left outside of the left tackle Hudson. He's tackled after a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they are really playing Ritter on the run now. They are keeping their ends, their DNs, their edge guys out to the outside. They're not allowing Ritter to get to that edge.
Linebacker Jordan Carmouche injured on that play. Down on one knee as the trainers come out to take a look. Carmouche has had an interesting college career. Started out as a running back at SMU. Spent 1 year there. Then he was a defensive end at a junior college for a year. And now he's a linebacker at Houston. Former high school teammate of De'Aaron King in Manville, Texas. He's on his feet.
Seems to be fine.
Headed toward the sideline. So Houston will be without linebacker Jordan Carmouche for at least a play. That stopped the clock. 1:57 left in the half. Cincinnati due to get the ball to begin the third quarter, so the Bearcats would love the opportunity for back-to-back scores. Score to end the second quarter and then another to begin the third.
Desmond Ritter, 11 out of 16, so good completion percentage. Not a lot of yards yet, but Bearcats don't throw all that much, 118 yards.
Tightly bunched formation for the Cats. Ritter back to throw. In trouble, gets away from a sack, has all sorts of running room. He's at the 20, middle of the field, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Desmond Ritter!
I am telling you what, that was a sack. He got out of it, and not only does he pick up the first down, again, the play downfield, you got all these receivers running in man coverage, and all their defenders are covering him. He found the middle wide open, then at the last minute used his blockers as shields and got into the end zone. That was an outstanding play by Desmond Ritter.
That's a 32-yard touchdown run for Desmond Ritter. His second rushing touchdown of the second quarter. And the Bearcats on the verge of pushing the lead back to 14 points. 1:40 left in the half. Cole Smith's PAT is good, and it's 21-7 Cincinnati after Ritter goes 32 yards to score to cap a 75-yard touchdown drive.
That was outstanding. I'm telling you what, that was just a great individual play all the way by Desmond Ritter. Everything he did there was right. He kept looking down the field to throw the football. He felt the pressure. He got away from the pressure, which, quite honestly, if you're Houston or a Houston fan, you're saying that should have been a sack. It wasn't. He stepped up just away from the sacker, the would-be sacker, and then found the middle wide open, weaved his way down, used his blockers. Or I won't even say there were blocks. There were guys down the field that he was able to weave in and out and use his shields to get into the end zone.
Bearcats have 171 rushing yards so far on only 14 attempts. That's more than 12 yards every time they've run it, and they lead at 21-7. Cole Smith getting ready to kick it off. See if he attempts to kick this one a little bit deeper instead of the extremely high but returnable kickoff. It's a pooch-type kickoff, very close to the sideline, and it flies into the Bearcat bench. That was very poorly executed, and for the second consecutive drive, Houston will start from the 35-yard line.
Yeah, the first one was where the run back went. In this case, it's by penalty. There's no penalty yards on that, but the penalty is that they get to start their drive at the 35. And Shane Creamer, who's tight end on the kick return team, that was the guy they were kicking it to, thinking that he would call a fair catch and the ball would have been at the 30, maybe just inside the 30. He opted to just let it go out of bounds. So you hit it on the head when you said not executed well. So right now, this is a spot where this game can go one way or the other real quickly here. Houston, with success on the last drive, if they're able to score here, it's a ball game still. This is a spot where some pressure on Clayton Tune, a pick, of putting the ball on the ground, something like that, even a stop.
1:40 on the clock. Houston has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. Tune trying to throw it deep. He has a man open on the far sideline. The catch made, a backward step, and now running down the middle of the field toward the 10-yard line for a huge gain is Nathaniel Dell. The Bearcats with a blown coverage there. Dell is down at the 11-yard line after a 54-yard gain.
Yeah, absolutely. And nice job that time by Derek Forrest of at least staying with it and making that tackle right at the 10. But blown coverage is, boy, that is absolutely right.
Houston allowing time to run off the clock for good reason. Don't want the Bearcats to get the ball back with plenty of time. We're down to 1:08 left in the half. From the Cincinnati 11-yard line, Clayton Tune has the ball, hands it off to Malba Carr, and Carr will be tackled at the 10-yard line after a 1-yard pickup.
3 more of those plays, and I'm okay with it, but I don't think that's what Houston's going to do as they call a timeout.
Elijah Ponder lost his helmet on that play, so he will have to exit for at least 1 snap.
Curtis Brooks heads in to replace him.
Houston used the timeout, 58 seconds left in the half. 21-7 Cincinnati, but the Cougars flipping the field on that 54-yard pass to sophomore Nathaniel Dell. Clayton Tune ready for the shotgun snap. Receiver Bryson Smith motions from right to left. Tune looking right, swings it out to a running back, and Carr dropped the ball. He had running room.
Yep.
Joel DeBlanco trying to catch up, but it doesn't matter as Carr dropped it.
Yeah, if Carr makes that catch right away, he's able to turn his shoulders square and go upfield. DeBlanco can't stop him. But a little bit of a break there for the Bearcats, and big 3rd down here. If you can force a field goal attempt here, it's huge.
The incomplete pass stopped the clock. 48 seconds left in the half, and now Houston's going to call another timeout anyway.
Yeah, they're going to talk about this one. This is a big play for the Cougars. They can get a 1st down right at the 1. This drive starting actually for this series at the 11.
You can come down if you want.
Let's get on to Tony Pike.
What's been interesting is allowing Clayton Tune to get into a little bit of a rhythm here. It's been the comfortability in the pocket that he's had. This pass rush that has been so good the last 2 weeks has been unable to get home up to this point in the game. This is a prime example. 3rd and 9 here. A sack, maybe even a sack fumble would be huge. But there's some questions in the secondary. You lose James Wiggins. Guys aren't in the spot they're supposed to be. The front 4, or maybe 5 or 6, based on what Marcus Freeman does, needs to come up with a big play.
The edge rushers here will be Myjay Sanders and Ethan Tuckey. Both good pass rushers. 3rd down and 9 for Houston at the Cincinnati 10. 48 seconds left in the half. 21-7, the Bearcats lead. Bryson Smith goes in motion. Tune back to throw. Fires toward the end zone. A leaping catch, and it is
out of bounds.
Out of bounds and no touchdown. Bryson Smith was not able to get a foot down, and the pass is incomplete as a result.
Yeah, 2 officials right there, and both of them say, nope, nothing came down inbounds. Foot was way, as he was driven into the sideline, his foot flipped over and was about a foot, maybe 2 feet out of bounds. Looks like Houston's going for it. They may be waiting for a replay.
We've seen a replay. I'm not positive that the left foot did not get down before the rest of the body went out of bounds.
That might be what they're waiting on.
Houston, their 2nd of the half.
Houston
30
uses
seconds.
its final timeout. We got the pylon cam here for ABC. So they had a tight shot of Bryson Smith as he came down with the ball going out of bounds, and it looked like there was a chance at least that his left toe came down in the end zone before the rest of his body wound up out of bounds. Now, if the body hits first out of bounds, the toe doesn't matter.
Correct. Yeah, I'm trying to sneak a peek here in the ABC booth, but they've got a bunch of other games on that I can see. So
incomplete.
I mean, they're watching this game. I didn't mean it that way. The video board that I can see is not this game.
Houston's going to settle for a field goal try, so the call
Will stand.
was not reviewed as far as we know. And here is kicker Dalton Witherspoon looking for a 27-yard field goal. The snap, the put down, and the kick. It is good, and Houston gets 3 points with 38 seconds left in the half.
They tried to take the clock down as far as they could, and obviously they wanted to leave some time on there as they exhausted their timeouts to be able to, if they were able to, well, on the fourth down and maybe get the first down at the 1 yard line, they would have been able to clock the ball and get another play or two. But in this particular case, the Bearcats do a good job. That was good pass defense on that one where Smith was thrown out of bounds.
That was a 5-play, 55-yard scoring drive. 54 of the 55 yards coming on the pass in the very first play to Nathaniel Dell. Took 1:02 off the clock, officially a 28-yard field goal for Dalton Witherspoon, the 33rd of his Houston career.
Tony made a good point with Wiggins out of there, kind of like your guy directing traffic out there, your quarterback on defense, and with him not there, a couple of different breakdowns of pass coverage, and the secondary's got to tighten it up.
Bubba Baxa ready to kick it off. Bubba Baxa should be a lineman, not a kickoff specialist. Kicks it high and deep into the end zone, and Tucker's going to run it out from about 3 yards deep. He's at the 10, flying to the 20. It opens up at the 30. Tucker to the 40, and he is tackled at the 43-yard line with 31 seconds on the clock. The Bearcats have all 3 of their timeouts left, so they will certainly have enough time to at least try to drive about 30 yards for a field goal try.
Absolutely. He did his job there. Didn't get it all the way, but at the same time, what he did is he gives you a big-time puncher's chance here. Jordan Moore was the last guy. If he gets through Jordan Moore, who's one of the kind of the Sam linebacker, safety type guy, one of those hybrid linebackers, he would have scored. But in this case, you're at your own 45, 3 timeouts. You got plenty of time.
Looking for about 30 yards in 31 seconds to give Cole Smith a shot. Ritter with a misdirection handoff to Dokes. He's to the 50, the Houston 40. He's got a blocker in front. Down the sideline to the 20, the 10, and he gets knocked out of bounds inside the 10. Jared Dokes going up and over 150 rushing yards in the first half. It'll be first and goal from the 8 as that counter play worked to perfection.
Sure was, and a counter play is exactly what it was. Ritter came out of there like running to the right, and Dokes, who was at his right, went back to the left, and boy, it broke wide open. Bearcats elect to use their first timeout. Talk about it. They've got 2 timeouts in their pocket, ball at the 7, but you want to make sure you got things. You don't want time to go off the clock here and not leave yourself a chance. So see what the Bearcats do here. First and goal from the 7.
48 yards on the run, 166 in the first half for Jared Dokes. That is a new career high. And with 22 seconds left in the half, the Bearcats have it inside the Toyota red zone. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. For all Toyota offers, Toyota, let's go places.
So you got enough time to get, at first and goal here, all 4 shots if that's what you want to do. Hopefully the Bearcats can get the ball in the end zone here on first down or maybe second down.
There appeared to be an injured pylon on that play. One of the TV technicians had to go over, probably fix the pylon cam for ABC. First and goal from the 7. Cincinnati leading 21-10. 22 seconds left in the half. Desmond Ritter under center for the first time today. Fisher goes in motion. Ritter rolling out to the right. Got the ball in his hands. He's down to the 5. He'll be run out of bounds and then tackled out of bounds. Luke Fickell is furious that Desmond Ritter was tackled after a 3-yard run that stops the clock with 17 seconds left.
Yeah, in this case, Ritter was clearly going out of bounds, and he was tackled about a yard beyond it. And Luke Fickell moving pretty quickly down there to get that referee's ear, who was right there.
Bearcats bring in a third tight end in, Cam Jones. Cincinnati with Josh Wiley lining up as a fullback in front of Jared Dokes. Now Wiley motions out to the right. Second and goal from the 4. Desmond Ritter with 15 seconds on the clock floats a Lob into the end zone, a leaping attempt by Wiley. He's got it. Touchdown.
Yeah, baby.
Bearcats with 13 seconds left in the half.
Nice job by Wiley, and a great job too. Love the play. Love the play. You got Wiley in the backfield. You take him out. You put him out there like he's going to be an extra blocker. Then you throw the fade route to him. Just a little quick fade. Desmond Ridder put it in the exact right spot. Josh Wiley at 6'6" goes up and makes the catch. And the Bearcats only leave 13 seconds on the clock.
Man, how discouraging that must be for Houston. They kicked a field goal with 38 seconds left in the half, and Cincinnati needed 25 seconds to score a touchdown.
That's Trey Tucker too, man. He is a playmaker.
The extra point by Smith is good, and with 13 seconds left in the half, Cincinnati leads the Houston Cougars 28-10.
Well, this is a spot where you can ill afford to give up a long return. I think what you'll see is Cole Smith do what he tried to do last time, which was pooch the ball high. This time he won't get it anywhere near the sideline, though. You'll see it down the middle somewhere, up high to hopefully get Houston to fair catch the ball. Wouldn't be surprised if they do what they need to do, meaning the Cougars, and bring Marcus Jones, their return specialist, their very fine returner, up a little bit closer. That was a heck of a catch by Wiley and a heck of a throw by Ridder.
All started with a 45-yard kickoff return, as you pointed out, by Trey Tucker. It's really more like 48 yards because he fielded it 3 yards deep in the end zone, but that's not how they do the math in college football. It always starts from the goal line, even if you're 9 yards deep. And then a 48-yard run by Jared Dokes. Here's another pooch-type kickoff, and this one is caught inbounds at the 19-yard line. It is returned past the 30. The returner still on his feet at the 35. He makes it to the 40 and gets tackled there.
Fumble.
Ball pops out. Cincinnati comes away with the ball. 3 seconds on the clock.
Got a shot.
And the Bearcats have the ball at the 39. They could try about a 56-yard field goal, and that's what Cole Smith is going to do.
Well, what I was saying there, what I started to say, and they were still running, so it's like all the time's going to go off the clock for Houston. It was one of those things where if Houston was smart, they would have gone to the ground, but you got a guy making yardage there, and he ends up fumbling the football, and we'll see a long field goal attempt. Nope, they're bringing the offense out. So we'll see a Hail Mary here.
Cole Smith was out there swinging the leg.
Yes, he was.
The Bearcats are going to use a timeout to talk things over. Cole Smith is capable of hitting from 56. He's got a strong leg. His longest career field goal is 50.
And one of the fears I would have is, in order for a guy like Cole Smith, and he's certainly capable of making it, is you have to drive the ball, and when you do that, you drive it a little bit lower. And the last thing you want now is a field goal blocked and run back for a touchdown, for 7 points the other way.
And he has had 3 blocked in his career out of 17 career attempts. So it will be the offense on the field for a likely Hail Mary type play. 3 seconds on the clock. Cincinnati 39 yards away, leading 28-10 as we get ready for the final play of the first half. Houston backing up the safeties inside the 20. Ridder ready. He catches the shotgun snap, drops back, rolling right. He's going to step into a Hail Mary throw, floats it into the end zone, and it is knocked to the. It is interception in the end zone for a touchback as the half comes to an end. So it hurts the stats for Desmond Ridder, but does not affect the scoreboard as the Bearcats will go into the locker room leading 28-10.
Yeah, again, I don't blame the Bearcats for going for it. Very often a play like that ends up in interception. So, yeah, you're right. It shows up as an interception for Dez, but at the same time, the Bearcats, I thought, did a great job there at going for it. That was the right move.
Hassan Hippolyte is the player that came away with the interception for Houston. So at the half, the Bearcats are on top by 18 points. It is Cincinnati 28 and Houston 10. Stay tuned for Mo Egger and the R&L Carriers halftime report, brought to you by R&L Carriers, your global transportation provider. Visit rlc.com. At the half, Cincinnati 28, Houston 10, 700 WLW.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 250-member University of Cincinnati Bearcat Marching Band for a unique and very special halftime presentation. 2020 will be remembered as a very unusual year. The Bearcat Band has gone to great lengths to stay safe this fall, and we hope that you will also. This year, the UC Band celebrates a special anniversary. Exactly 100 years ago, the Bearcat Marching Band was created. As the University of Cincinnati Bearcat Band celebrates their centennial season, this year's band members dedicate this halftime program to the family members of the Bearcat football team, cheer and dance teams, and Bearcat Marching Band that are in the stands this afternoon. Welcome, families. This afternoon's From the Stands halftime performance begins with a song by Demi Lovato. The lyrics say, "This is my game and you better come to play," which the Bearcat Band is telling our opponents. Here is the 2020 Bearcat Band's rendition of Confident. The next number is a song by Paula Abdul from 1989. It was accompanied by a popular MTV video, which at the time was described as tastefully hot. Maybe this memory will warm your heart as the Bearcat Band cuts loose with Cold Hearted. For the next number, we go way back to 1994 and revisit a California rock group called The Offspring. The Bearcat Band offers this musical challenge to the Cougars. Come out and play. The Bearcat Band will close out our From the Stands halftime performance with a tune by Cameo. This high-energy number always gets a crowd up on its feet, and it also gives the Bearcat Band's all-star brass section an opportunity to rock Nippert Stadium. Here is Talking Out the Side of Your Neck. Let's hear it for the Bearcat Band. The UC Bearcat Marching Band would like to thank you for your attention and the opportunity to perform for you this afternoon. The Bearcat Band cheer and dance teams are grateful for the opportunity to support our number 6 Bearcat football team. The University of Cincinnati Bearcat Band is directed by Christopher J. Nichter. Associate Director is Nick Angelis. Assistant Director, Krista Mulcahy. Visual choreography by Larry Rebbio and Heather Graham. Color guard instructor, Lindsay Cristalier. Twirler coach is Brittany Ziegler. Graduate assistant, Lion Brown. Sound engineer, Andrew Van Mater. Photography and videography by Christopher Southard and Andrew and Lori Hitchcock. The assistant to the directors is Ryan Boyd. The voice of the University of Cincinnati Bearcat Marching Band is Randy Smith. The next performance.
Halftime lead over the Houston Cougars. Let's take a look at some first half stats brought to you as always by Skyline Chili, the official chili of UC football. Feeling good. It's Skyline time. Let's start with the stats for Jared Dokes. 11 carries for 166 yards in the first half. He had a 72-yard run. He had a 48-yard run. He has a new career rushing high with 166 yards. And he's got 30 minutes to go.
Yeah, he's got a long ways to go, and he also caught 2 passes in there for 27 yards, but really impressive. And a 72-yard run, and then I'll tell you what, he's just run the ball really well today. He looks a step quicker than I've seen him. He's always had the power, but today he seems to have that extra kind of quickness to get into the open and really utilize those yards into the second level and into the third level. But he's just done a great job today.
Last Bearcat to have a 200-yard rushing performance. Minnesota Vikings running back Mike Boone went for 212 against USF back in 2014. Desmond Ritter, 12 for 18, 122 yards passing, 1 touchdown pass, a couple of touchdown runs, including the 32-yarder where it looked like he was a dead duck as the pass rush closed in, and the next thing you knew, those long strides, he was sprinting toward the end zone.
Exactly. That's the play that sticks out, man. So, no sacks on the day for Houston on Ritter, but 4 attempts running the ball for Ritter. One of those was that would-be sack you were talking about. 56 yards on the day, the 2 touchdowns. You mentioned the longest one of 32 yards that went for a touchdown.
Houston able to complete a couple of deep balls after the injury to James Wiggins. The guys that have replaced him are very good players, but they're not as experienced, and Houston has capitalized a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm thinking last year down at Houston, the Bearcats got away from there with a win, but they went over the top a few times down there. And, again, they like to throw the ball deep, and they've had some success today. It appeared to me that in both cases that the 2 deep balls that there was some of the defenders out of position. And that might have to do with Wiggins not being in there. We're not sure exactly where the breakdowns were, but definitely some breakdowns in the secondary.
At the half, Cincinnati leading 28-10, and the Bearcats are due to get the ball to begin the third quarter. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with the start of the second half in just a moment. You have been listening to the R&L Carriers Halftime Report, presented by R&L Carriers, your global transportation provider. Visit rlc.com. Cincinnati leads Houston 28-10 at halftime on News Radio 700 WLW. One home game left for UC. It's coming up on Friday night. At least one scheduled home game left. The Bearcats could host the American Athletic Conference Championship game if they keep this up. But one scheduled for now. It's a Friday night game coming up next week against ECU. And then the Bearcats will head on the road for 3 in a row after that. Big game at UCF. Number 1 offensive team in college football right now. That's 2 weeks from now in Orlando. Then it's off to Philadelphia, a road game at Temple. Those are usually tough. And then the wrap-up game against Tulsa, a game that was postponed due to positive COVID-19 tests, and Tulsa's turned out to be very good. Not out of the question we could have a repeat of last year where the Bearcats faced the same team in back-to-back games.
It could be. It could be Tulsa Cincinnati and Tulsa 1-2. And honestly, right now, it's still up in the air. If that happened, where that game would be played, it depends on the rest of the season. It depends wholeheartedly on that, or almost exclusively on that last game, to where it would be played.
The way it played out last year,
Check.
Bearcats and Memphis faced each other. Memphis won the regular season finale and earned the right to host the American Athletic Conference Championship game, which the Tigers obviously won. Cincinnati getting redemption, a little revenge last week here at Nippert Stadium. The Bearcats have emerged from the locker room, and they'll be looking to add to their 28-10 lead as they are set to get the ball to begin the third quarter.
Yeah, they're going to get the ball first, and certainly like to see them take the ball down the field and score. What I'm really interested in is how Marcus Freeman and his defensive staff adjust.
Tony.
It's not like they gave up a lot of yards to Houston, but I want to see what the adjustments they make.
Time to check in with Tony Pike.
And this team's up 28-10 at halftime, and yet it feels like it wasn't close to this team's best half. Defensively, you came into this game with no Arquan Bush. You lose James Wiggins. That means you got to start moving pieces around a lot more. And for Marcus Freeman, he was trying to do that on the fly. Look for them to make some adjustments. Also got to find a way to get to the quarterback. Find ways to pressure, turn the ball over, continue to be dominant defensively, offensively, because Des Ridder has gotten going with his legs, because Jared Dokes has had success in the running game. Look for that play-action game for the Bearcats to continue. And then just clean everything up. The kick goes out of bounds. You have some penalties. It's just overall not your cleanest half. You're up by 18. Find a way to take this first drive and make a statement here in the second half.
I would agree with that, Tony. I think there's some cleaning up to do, and it certainly wasn't their best half, even though they're up by 3 scores.
222 rushing yards in the first half for Cincinnati. Jared Dokes leading the way with a $166. Desmond Ridder right behind with 56.
Through the air, 12 out of 18, 122 yards and a touchdown for Ridder. Clayton Tune with good numbers, too. Not huge yards for either quarterback, but 12 out of 16, very good completion percentage, 133 yards.
Desmond Ridder was intercepted on the final play of the half on a Hail Mary throw into the end zone. So not really his fault, but Hassan Hippolyte came up with a pick, his first of the year. The relative of a former Bengal, his uncle Mark Roman was a Bengals second-round draft pick back in 2000. Wound up having a 10-year NFL career.
He played for quite a few years. So. Interestingly enough, Tony made a reference to getting to the quarterback, the Bearcat defense getting to the quarterback. They haven't had a lot of luck. The one sack that they did have was off a corner blitz where Ahmad Sauce Gardner came off the backside and was able to hit Clayton Tune. Both of them a little dinged up on that play, but that's the only time they've been able to get to Tune.
Cougars getting ready to kick it off, and keep in mind, Trey Tucker had a 45-yard kickoff return. Last time the Cougars kicked it off, helped Cincinnati score a touchdown with just seconds to go in the second quarter.
See if they kick it away from Tucker this time.
It's a different kicker. Kyle Ramsey will handle the kickoff.
You made the point at the time, Dan. Normally that was a kick 3 to 4 yards deep. Tucker wouldn't run out.
So Ramsey approaches the ball to 35, and he belts it. That one is
unreturnable.
About 2 yards past the end zone. That's one of the longest kickoffs we've seen.
Yeah. And you know why he's in there. They weren't going to give Tucker a chance whatsoever to return that one.
So 1st and 10 Bearcats from the 25-yard line. Looking to add to this 18-point lead.
See what they do offensively here. If they want to try to get off to a really fast start here in the second half and make Houston do things that they aren't comfortable with doing offensively when they do get the ball back.
Bearcats averaging about 40 points a game this year, and certainly on pace to eclipse that so far today. Empty backfield for Desmond Ridder. Runs a quarterback draw behind Wiley and does not make it back to the line of scrimmage. Pulled down by the legs, about a yard behind the line by Chidozie Wanko, freshman nose guard who is wearing the number 10 for Houston. That is a number of honor after Ed Oliver wore it.
Oliver, yep.
They're going to use that in recruiting, try to get the next Ed Oliver.
So that is the first tackle for loss for Houston on the day. The Bearcats had 4 in the first half and 1 sack. That's the first sack or tackle for loss by the Houston defense.
2nd and 11 for Cincinnati. Double running backs in. The Bearcats give it to Dokes running right. And Jared makes it out to the 27-yard line for a 3-yard pickup. 3rd down and 8 coming up.
Yeah, Cats only 1 out of 4 on the day on 3rd downs. They came in over 50%. That's not a whole lot of sample size, but 1 out of 4 at 25% is not good. I guess the good part is when you only have 4 of them, that means you're moving the ball on 2nd down and 1st down.
3rd down and 8. Houston was showing blitz. Grant Stewart right over the center, and a safety creeping up as well. 3 receivers out to the left, 1 out to the right. 6 defenders up front, 5 come after Ritter. The protection is great. Ritter has time. Now he's going to take off and run, and Desmond runs for the first down. Makes it to the 37 for a 9-yard scramble.
Well, again, he had knack there of knowing that the pressure was coming behind him, and you can ask Tony that. You got that clock in your head, and you know when it's time to get out of there, and Desmond Ritter heard the alarm go off. Not only did he get forward to avoid the sack, he picks up yardage and a 1st down. That's well done.
Very discouraging for the defense.
11 yards on that carry.
So the Bearcats have a 1st and 10 at their own 38-yard line. Wiley motions toward the formation as Ritter sticks it in the gut of Jared Dokes. Dokes crosses the 40, makes it up to the 41.
I think that was Jerome Ford.
Lost the ball at the end of the play, and he has his right arm pinned against his side.
You could also see Houston trying to strip the ball that time, and you're right, his right arm is hanging, and Jared Dokes will go back in now.
Jerome Ford kind of flexing the arm back and forth as he comes to the sideline, and Dokes is back in. About 2.5 minutes into the 3rd quarter, the Cats have it 2nd and 7 at their own 41. Ball in the left hash. Ritter in the gun, Dokes to his right, Wiley motioning left. Dokes fakes they fake a handoff to Dokes. Now they float it high and deep. Penalty flag down. It is intercepted by Houston. Picked off by Marcus Jones. Flag at the line of scrimmage. Jones tackled at the 22-yard line.
Offsides, Houston. That's the only foul that can be out there where that was thrown.
Offside, number 44, defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Yep. So DeAnthony Jones cost Marcus Jones an interception. They are not related.
Tucker was not open at all that time, so Dez gets a break there. And Bearcats with a real nice 2nd and 2 now allows them a lot of options here on this play.
2 tight ends in for Cincinnati. Taylor on the right side in a 3-point stance. Wiley on the left side lining up as a wing. Young motions toward the formation, lines up next to Taylor on the right side. It's dropped. A handoff was dropped, and the Bearcats will recover the fumble at the 44. They lose 2 on 2nd and 2.
Yeah, it was Dylan O'Quinn who fell on the ball. Very heads-up play there. I believe it was O'Quinn, one of the offensive linemen.
The bad exchange between Ritter and Dokes.
Yes,
and it was O'Quinn scrambling after the loose football and falling on it for a 2-yard loss. 3rd down and 4 as a result. 2 tight ends now detach and go out wide to the right. 3 receivers to that side for Desmond Ritter. Claps his hands, catches the snap, looking, throws a slant, caught by Young. 1st down Bearcat, spins away from a tackle. And Michael Young runs to the 44-yard line of the Cougars to move the sticks.
Wow, nice job of securing the football in ball security by Michael Young the first time. Then he spun out of there. Makes a 12-yard reception there on what should have been 3 or 4, but he did get the 1st down. He hung on to the football as well.
370 yards of offense for Cincinnati, almost twice as many as Houston. Cats with a 28-10 lead, 3rd quarter. Ritter ready for a shotgun snap with Dokes to his right, surveying the defense. He catches the ball, fakes a handoff, gets hit from behind. His arm was in the motion of a throw, and the pass goes fluttering toward the Bearcat sideline, incomplete. Got hit in the small of the back.
Yeah,
Logan Hall,
Logan
a
Hall,
6'6" defensive lineman.
He's a big one. And you're right in the small of the back. And Ritter was in the motion of throwing it out into the right flat, and the ball went way over everybody's head. So fortunate there for the Bearcats. 2nd and 10.
10:56 left, third quarter. Cincinnati on top, 28-10. 2-by-2 formation for the Bearcats. Ritter ready for the shotgun snap. He has the ball. Swing pass caught in the flat by Dokes. And Jarrett is tackled at the 41, gaining 3.
Yeah, well played by Houston that time. That was Marcus Jones again, Dan. He came up, did a nice job not allowing Dokes to pick up that first down. Sure tackle.
3 catches, 30 yards for Jared Dokes to go with a 167 he has on the ground. 3rd down and 7. With the clock running and about 10.5 minutes to go, third quarter. 3 receivers out to the wide side right, spread out in a straight line. Ritter back to throw, looking right, screen pass caught by Ja'Shawn Jackson. Great fake as he'll pick up the first down as he makes it to the 32-yard line of Houston for a 9-yard gain on 3rd and 7.
Well, he was cutting back inside everybody. Did a great job, Ja'Shawn Jackson, and guy that's had a rough game. And boy, all of a sudden people are coming from behind trying to poke that ball out. So sorry about yelling on your call there, but nice job. And remember before I said the Bearcats 1 out of 4 on 3rd downs. They have quickly turned it around. They're now 4 out of 7, so they're over 50%.
Michael Young asked to come out at the end of that play. Trey Tucker replaces him and goes out widest to the right. 2 receivers on that side, Jackson and Tucker. Jordan Jones out to the left. Desmond Ritter hands it off to Jared Dokes, finds a hole up the middle again, and runs for about 8 to the 24-yard line of Houston.
He's just finding spaces there today, and the offensive line doing a great job of creating those for him to get started. Exactly what they gave him was 8. Nicely done.
13 carries, 177 yards for Jared Dokes. Obviously more than 10 yards a carry so far today, highlighted by a 72-yard run early in the game. 2nd down and 2 at the Houston 24. Ritter fakes a handoff, looking for an open target, now trying to scramble, and he goes down short of the first down. Might have picked up a half a yard. It's going to be 3rd and a long 1.
Well, he went into a slide, and again, we know how that slide works after watching Brady White last week. You're down when you start to go down. You're going to be marked at that spot, so I think they gave him no gain. It looked like he got a yard, but they pulled it back to the 24-yard line there.
3rd and 2 officially at the 24-yard line of Houston. Bearcats have 2 receivers out wide to the right. Ritter hands it off. Dokes got nothing. It's 4th and 2.
Yeah, nothing at all there. The Cats 1 for 1 on 4th downs in this game. Of course, in the first half, they're going to go for this one. At least that's what it appears.
It's almost the exact same spot on the field.
Yeah.
They went for it and got it on 4th and 3, and now they will go on 4th and 2.
Yeah, that was a pass out in the flat to Dokes. Ritter got hit just as he let it go. Dokes made a one-handed catch to pick up the first down.
Bearcats have 2 tight ends on the field. They're both out to the left. That's the short side of the field. Desmond Ritter is ready, catches the shotgun snap, hands it off to Dokes, and Dokes has the first down. Just a power run off the right side of the line, and he makes it to the 21 for a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, just a zone run that time, and well done that time by Vinny McConnell. Man, outstanding. Throw in Darius Harper over there as well. And let's put Dylan O'Quinn in there as well. That hole, well, he's on the left side, but did a nice job of coming over and securing it for Dokes.
This is the opening drive of the 3rd quarter. Half of the quarter is gone. Bearcats have already held the ball for more than 7.5 minutes. This will be the 14th play coming up. Ford replaces Dokes on the field. Ritter fakes it to Ford, then tries to run to the right, and Des is tackled after a short gain. He is into the Toyota red zone.
Yeah, they'll give him down to the 18, it looks like, so we'll pick up a 2. Scoreboard says 9 to go, but I think he's closer to 2 there.
I would agree. We'll call it 2nd and 8.
Yeah, there they go. They're listening to us, and they fixed it.
6:41 left in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 8 at the 18 of Houston. 3 receivers left, 1 right. Ritter throws, and he threw a BB. I'm not sure how Jordan Jones was supposed to see it, much less catch it, and it's incomplete.
Well, I think it was by him. Number one, you were absolutely right. It was very hot. And secondly, before Jordan Jones can get his head around, the ball was already at him. And fortunately went harmlessly to the turf. So big 3rd down here. Cats having to convert on 4th down, previous set of downs.
Ritter is 15 for 23, 146 passing yards. Empty backfield. Now Dokes will motion and line up to the left of Desmond Ritter. On 3rd down and 8 from the 18, Ritter hands it off to Dokes, and he's chopped down at the 15-yard line where it's 4th and 5.
Yeah, it's field goal territory here. You're not going to go for it at 4th and 5, I don't believe. Nope.
So here comes Cole Smith, attempting just his 3rd field goal of the year. When the Bearcats have been into the red zone this year, they have almost always scored touchdowns. Coming into the game, 17 touchdowns on 21 red zone trips, 81%. This will be a 33-yard try for the sophomore from Middletown High School. Ball's close to the middle of the field. James Smith puts it down. Cole Smith's kick is good. So the Bearcats take more than 9 minutes off the clock and add 3 points to their lead. We'll take a break. 5:48 left in the 3rd quarter. Cincinnati 31 and Houston 10. It's Bearcat football presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW.
It's pretty amazing.
After a 17-play, 60-yard drive that took 9 minutes and 12 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And that number of 9 minutes and 12 seconds is amazing, not to mention the number of plays. Been nice to finish that, have it take a little bit longer and have it finish with a touchdown, but nicely done by the Bearcats. A nice mixture of a combination of different things there, but well done.
Cole Smith getting ready to kick it off, and Houston's dangerous returner, Marcus Jones, is not back to return. Instead, Nathaniel Dell is back there.
Yeah, and it looks like they are playing up, Dan, in reference to thinking that Cole Smith will kick the ball a little bit deep, a little bit shallower. That's the word I'm looking for. Here we go.
(31-10) Bearcats. And Cole Smith gets the signal that he can go ahead and kick it away. Coverage team swaying their arms in unison, back and forth. Now the run up and the kick. Blasted toward the end zone, and it will not be caught by Nathaniel Dell. Well done.
You can come down a little bit. Chance of returning that one.
So
let's get on to Tony Pike.
Just a real quick update for safety. James Wiggins is not going to return to this game. Just walked past. He is in his street clothes, so he's out of uniform. Everything we've been told to this point, though, is it's nothing structurally, more of a stinger situation right now for James Wiggins. So precautionary. That would explain him messing around with his grip. So good news that James Wiggins appears to be good going forward. Bad news is you don't have him the rest of the night.
break.
We're going to take a timeout. 5:48 remaining third quarter. 31-10. Cincinnati leads Houston on News Radio 700 WLW. Happy to have you with us here at Nippert Stadium. Bearcats trying to remain perfect. So far, so good. They have a 3-touchdown lead over the Houston Cougars. 31-10 is our score. 5:48 left in the third quarter here at the Nip.
So it seems like about an hour ago I said I'm looking forward to watching what Marcus Freeman's defense can do and the adjustments they'll make against this Houston offense. And by golly, the Bearcats go on a 9-minute and 12-second drive and score a field goal. So how about that?
Their longest drive of the year by time and by plays. 17 plays. Cole Smith kicking his second field goal of the year. Hadn't attempted one since the second game of the year.
Yeah, I looked at those, and he was 1 for 2 going in, and I'm going, no, like, what? It's pretty rare that you're in your 6th game, and you've only attempted 2 field goals on the year. That just shows, that's the mentality of Luke Fickell and his offensive staff and how well that their offense has played, at least particularly the last few games.
Houston will come out in a pistol formation with running back Kyle Porter lining up behind quarterback Clayton Tune. Porter ran for 54 yards on 12 carries in the first half, averaging about 4.5 a crack.
So we got Ahmad Gardner and Kobe Bryant at the corners. Javon Hicks at the safety spot where James Wiggins isn't in there. Brian Cook, who we've talked about, also back there in the secondary, as well as Derek Forrest.
Cook lining up very close to the line of scrimmage. Tune fakes a handoff. Looking around, fires a pass that's caught at the 35-yard line. Singleton went down after making the catch. College football, once you do that, you're down. Yep. And it's 11-yard gain on the play.
Again, no pressure at all on Clayton Tune. Just Houston, until Cincinnati can get to him, they're going to stay with the drop back. And he had all day back there to throw and find a receiver.
Bearcats playing with 3 down linemen. That is the norm on defense. Now they send an edge blitz, and Tune made the man miss. Runs to the 40 and goes head first out to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, I think he was expecting a running back to take the ball from him, Clayton Tune, the quarterback. Nobody came, and I think it was Sanders ran right by him, expecting there be somebody to take the handoff as well. And Tune takes advantage of that and picks up 5. No, that wasn't Sanders.
Jarrell White, a rare whiff for one of the more sure tacklers in college football.
I think he had his eyes elsewhere, looking for the would-be ball carrier.
Jarrell leading the league in tackles, nearly 10 per game. 2nd and 5, the Cougars at their own 41. The Bearcats leading 31-10. Smith goes in jet motion. They fake to him. They throw a receiver screen, and Sanders tackles Singleton at the 44, a 3-yard gain.
Yep, 3rd down, though. That's what you like. Houston in the first half, this is their first third down attempt of this half. 3 out of 9, 33% on the day so far in the first half.
Houston lines up quickly. They've been giving it to Porter in these situations. They do here, and he's got the first down. He'll be gang tackled at the 48, picking up 4 on 3rd and 2.
Yeah, he didn't need much, but he got it.
They run the same play, basically. Anytime it's 3rd and short or 4th and short.
I also think that they feel that if they stay a little bit tempo, that they've got Cincinnati at a little disadvantage defensively. Bearcats substitute here, but they look to the sideline too long and don't get set. That's what's happened at the end of the first half and so far here during this drive.
Cole McGowan checks in at wide receiver. First time we've called that name. Toon hands it off. Porter being chased from behind by Malik Van and Joel DeBlanco, and the tackle is made by DeBlanco at the 50, a 2-yard pickup.
Yeah, Darius Beaver's in there as well, but nice hustle that time by Malik Van, coming off the offensive left edge, the Cincinnati defensive right edge, chasing the running back down.
2nd down and 8. Houston right at midfield. Cincinnati up by 3 touchdowns. Toon back to throw. He's going to float it for McGowan, being covered by Kobe Bryant, and it's incomplete inside the 10-yard line.
Nice job by Kobe Bryant. Pretty well covered all the way down the field, but didn't use the hands or the arms to create any distance. So good play right there. The official right there didn't see anything wrong. So now we're looking at a little bit tougher 3rd down conversion for Houston at 3rd down and 8.
Had the feeling when he checked in, and we hadn't seen him all day, that maybe he was going to be a target for a deep ball.
He's a speedster.
3rd down and 8 for the Cougars at the 50-yard line. One deep safety for Cincinnati. Likely passing situation. Toon back to throw. The pocket closes. His pass deflected at the line of scrimmage, and it falls incomplete.
Ethan Tuckey get his hand on it, and that'll create a 4th down and 8 situation. I would think Houston will punt.
That is the case.
Ryan Montgomery, be real careful on this, although he's been money in his 2 years here, his 1 year plus, 1.5 years, I guess we'd say.
Lane Wilkins into punt. From the same academy in Australia that produced James Smith. Pro Kick Australia. Moves to his left for a rugby-style punt. Montgomery's going to let this one hit. Bounces at the 15, trickles forward, now rolls backward, and Houston will down it at the 15-yard line.
Almost looked like it was right on the sideline and went out of bounds, but it kicked back towards the field.
35 yards on the punt. The Bearcats have the ball. We have 3:04 left in the 3rd quarter, and we'll take a break. Cincinnati 31, Houston 10. It's Bearcat football, presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW. So far today for Desmond Ritter. So 3 touchdowns that he's been involved in so far today. 9 previous 2 games, so that's 12 touchdowns he's been involved in a 3-game period. We still have more than a quarter to go today.
Yeah, plenty of time to go where he can add on to that. Love to see him add on to that. And he's done a great job. That scramble that he had there in the end of the first half was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Nobody is asking the question anymore whether somebody else should be playing quarterback for UC.
The critics have been silenced. Back-to-back offensive players of the week in the American Conference. Some national awards for his play.
Jared Doakes trying to stake a claim to be the American Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Week for this week. He's at 184 rushing yards, 30 receiving yards. Scored 1 touchdown thus far.
Tony.
Let's go down to Tony Pike.
Well, you mentioned Jared Doakes day-to-day. It could be because his former backfield mate Michael Warren is in attendance today. Saw Michael on the sideline earlier. The truck in the house, and no doubt impressed by what he's seen from this Bearcat ground attack tonight.
About that, that's nice for the truck to come back.
Michael Warren's been on a couple of NFL practice squads so far this year. Philly first, then Carolina. Cats have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line. Leading 31-10, 3:04 to go, 3rd quarter here at Nippert Stadium. Wiley motions from left to right. Ritter catches the shotgun snap, fakes to Ford, throws it left, caught by Trey Tucker, and sprints toward the sideline before going out of bounds after a 9-yard gain.
Oh, I love the call. Absolutely love the call. Great throw by Ritter. And Trey Tucker again, I've become a fan, a huge fan. He is so talented and can do so much more than just return kickoffs. He did a wonderful job there of picking up 9 yards on 1st down.
2 catches, 17 yards for Tucker. The Bearcats have gone up and over 400 yards of offense with a quarter to go. Michael Young motions toward the formation. Ritter straight back to pass, forced to scramble, gets away from a possible hit. Now sprinting toward the sideline. He'll dash out of bounds close to the 1st down marker, and he's
real close.
I think they'll give it to him at the 25. Yep. They do.
Yep, he knew what he needed, did a great job, didn't take the hit. Had an opportunity to throw the ball, but I think that memory of throwing back against his body earlier in the year where it was picked off came into his mind and did the right thing there and got out of bounds without taking a hit. And with that, he picked up the 1st down. So well done, young man.
1st and 10 Bearcats at their own 25. 2:08 left, 3rd quarter. Ritter ready for the shotgun snap from Renfro. Dez has the ball, fakes a handoff. Short pass caught by Wiley, rumbling forward to the 30. And pulled down at the 32, 7 easy yards on the pass to Josh Wiley.
It's just a long handoff, but it's well done and well executed. No blocker there for Wiley this time. He does it on his own. He stops, cuts back inside, breaks through an arm tackle, and picks up 7.
4 catches, 36 yards for Wiley, including a touchdown catch in the 2nd quarter. He has tied his career high with 4 catches. 2nd game in a row that he's had 4. 2nd and 3 for the Cats at their own 32. Ritter with a zone read handoff to Ford. It breaks open behind a block by Wiley to the 40, 45, and out of bounds near midfield to mark him out at the 47.
Yeah, he couldn't keep his feet in bounds. Showed good speed there too. Tiptoed himself down the sideline, but it stepped out of bounds at that 47.
15 yards for Jerome
Ford.
Ford.
Doakes getting a little bit of a break here. Got another injury. Houston taking a beating today, personnel-wise.
Tony told us before the game that it was much hotter on the field turf than elsewhere. And it's cooled down now, so you wouldn't think that that would still be a factor. But nonetheless, dehydration impacts somebody over time, and that could be one of the issues for Houston.
And now that you make that statement, it looks to me like they're pushing back on his toes, which indicates that it's a calf cramp. Speaking from somebody who still gets them.
1:09 on the clock.
Cats have ruled time of possession in this quarter, that's for sure.
Starting the quarter with a 9-minute, 12-second drive. The injured player, safety, Gervarius Owens. He's on his feet and walking toward the sideline.
Yeah, I don't know that was cramp, but he seems to be okay. Doesn't seem to be too serious. Turnovers even on the day. The Bearcats pick up a fumble right at the end of the half. And, of course, right after that came the Desmond Ridder Hail Mary that ended up being an interception. Kind of an empty turnover for Houston, but nonetheless still counts as a turnover.
1st and 10, Cats at their own 47. Down to a minute to go in the third quarter. Shotgun snap. Ridder drops back, bouncing in the pocket, flinging it high and deep for Michael Young. Penalty flag down as the pass falls incomplete inside the 10. Penalty flag was in the secondary.
Yeah, it came early. I think it's going to be holding against Michael Young, not on Michael Young. He was held, so it's on Houston. It was early in the route.
Number 39, defense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
But nothing throws your timing off on a deep ball when you've got the speed of your receiver going down the field, and all of a sudden he's held back for a second. And that's exactly what happened there. Michael Young couldn't catch up with that ball. So the Bearcats catch a break there. I won't say catch a break, but Houston makes a mistake, and the Bearcats get another first down.
They have it at the 43-yard line of Houston. 54 seconds left, third quarter, 31-10. Bearcats the score. Ridder throws it backward. Tucker with a head of steam to the 40, 35, and tackled close to the first down marker. They will mark him a yard short at the 34.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Dan. Threw it backwards, and that was clearly backwards that time. And the reference there is to a pass in the first half that went 2 yards forward, where it looked like Houston had fallen on a fumble. It was reviewed and overturned.
This could be the final play of the third quarter coming up. We're down to 25 seconds to go. 2nd and a yard at the 34 of Houston. Ridder has Jerome Ford to his left. Play clock is at 5. Ridder catches the shotgun snap. He's going to throw it toward the left sideline. Incomplete for Trey Tucker. That'll stop the clock with 10 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, just straight out, little out route that time with Tyler Scott out wide trying to take the top off and clear space for Trey Tucker. That's just not a great throw by Desmond Ridder. Tucker was open.
3rd down and a yard.
I think that's why they did that. They know that they can pick it up here on 3rd and 1, or they believe they can. Ford stays in the game at tailback.
Taylor will go in motion from the tight end position, lines up to the right. The Bearcats fake to the right. Ridder runs to the left and picks up the first down.
Sure did.
Gains 4 to the 30-yard line on the final play of the third quarter. So the Bearcats will head to the fourth with a 3-touchdown lead. Our score, Cincinnati 31 and Houston 10. You're listening to Bearcat Football, presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW. should be rocking for the 6th-ranked team in the country. On the verge of extending a home field winning streak to 18 games. Unfortunately, it remains a crowd made up of direct family members of the players and coaches. The band is here, socially distanced. The cheerleaders, the dance squad, and University of Cincinnati student athletes who are in the coronavirus protocol. Since they are being tested, they are now being allowed in. So that has beefed up the crowd a little bit, added a little atmosphere to the games. But boy, this place would be packed to the
I
gills.
want to thank Luke Fickle and Ryan Coslin. My mother, who started as a co-ed here in 1947, has been to at least one game, and every year since then. Wow. They got her to the game today. Her 74th year in a row she's attended a game.
How great is
at
that?
Nippert. That's phenomenal.
That's
she's
tremendous.
down there having a blast. My
That is
brother,
awesome.
my brother Mike brought her, and they're down there just enjoying the day.
Made my day. That is awesome.
Absolutely. But you're right, Dan. What a year this is turning out to be. I mean, a lot of football to be played, and it's just a shame this place isn't rocking. Nothing like this place at night, which we will be next Friday. That game initially was a Thursday game, got moved to a Saturday game, then got moved back to a Friday game. I think I had that right. I know it's moved a few times.
We know it's a Friday now.
Yeah, exactly.
Bearcats are going to play in a great bowl at some point, we would think, based on the way things are going. Hopefully, a New Year's Six bowl or even better,
Yes.
14 playoff. And there will be fans allowed. It won't be full, but there will be some percentage of fans allowed. And Cincinnati fans will get the opportunity to check this team out in person at that point. I suppose there's still a chance that maybe a few will be allowed.
And I know
for the
Luke
American
Fickle,
Athletic Conference Championship if that's played here.
yeah, I know Luke Fickle doesn't like the fact that his team's ranked number 6 right now. But I don't want to be the one to tell him that number 5 lost today. So there's a slot ahead, a slot above him right now.
Cats have it at the 30-yard line of Houston. It is a flea flicker set up for Ritter to throw it deep downfield for Taylor, and it's just a bit too high at the 5-yard line. Desmond signaling to Leonard to keep running. He thought he was going to keep going toward the pylon and threw it because of that. And Leonard Taylor choked it down a bit.
Yeah, he did. Jay-Sean Jackson, who was the outside guy there, was open early as well. Now that play takes a while to develop. And for those of you who are saying who's number 5, that would be Georgia. So Florida, I don't know if the game's over, but they're beating them handily. So
2nd and 10 for Cincinnati at the 30-yard line of Houston. Jared Dokes back into the game. Ritter drops back to throw. The pocket closes. He escapes and runs down to the 20, middle of the field, 15, and tripped up at the 12-yard line.
how did you let them take you down? My goodness. Again, he got out of there just before the sack got him, before the sackers or the defenders got him. That was an outstanding play there by Desmond Ritter. Just great instincts. 18 yards on that carry. He's at 91 yards running on the day, rushing on the day. So you can come down if you want.
And another injured player down, Derek Parrish, who plays the so-called bandit position, being checked out around the 25-yard line. Let's check in with Tony.
Looks like another cramp down here for Houston. Des Ritter, Jim, you've mentioned it a couple times tonight. The feel that he has in the pocket, we were questioning that earlier in the year. The time where he's waiting and waiting to stay a passer, and once that threshold's hit, he becomes a runner. He's done a great job with his feel in the pocket tonight. And just wanted to add, Dan, you talked about seeing this team in person. For recruiting, that's a little bit different as well. They roll out the red carpet before the game. They do a virtual recruiting. I was able to jump on there today. The only problem, I had to follow Travis Kelce, who had Patrick Mahomes on making comments while Travis was on the recruiting video. So recruiting at an all-time high right now when Patrick Mahomes is joining the chat.
How about that?
Well, I think Tony Pike's bigger than Patrick Mahomes. No, that's impressive. I agree. That's very impressive. Not to mention Travis Kelce.
Cats have it in the Toyota red zone at the 12-yard line. 1st down and 10, 14:23 on the clock. Ritter fakes a handoff. He's rolling left, has Wiley in front to block. 5, goal line, touchdown, Desmond Ritter. He does it again.
My goodness. And Dan, you said, has Wiley to block for him. Wiley guided him into the end zone, just pushed his defender all the way from the 10 back into the end zone. That was well done. More of a quarterback run than a zone read that time. It just, Ritter knew he was going to keep it, and Wiley does a great job of shoving his guy out of the way to allow Ritter to break behind him and get into the end zone.
He ties his career high with 3 touchdown runs. Third time he's done that in his Bearcat career. The extra point by Cole Smith is perfect, and the Bearcat lead is 4 touchdowns, 38-10, Cincinnati. We'll take a timeout. We're 45 seconds into the fourth quarter as the Bearcats cap an 85-yard drive with a 12-yard run by Desmond Ritter. Cincinnati up 38-10. This is Bearcat football presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW. Cincinnati with 2 100-yard rushers today. Jared Dokes with a career-high 184 on just 16 carries. That's 11.5 per attempt. Desmond Ritter now 103 on 12 carries. That is 8.6 per attempt. In case you're wondering how long it's been since Cincinnati has had 2 guys run for more than 100 yards in the same game. 2 weeks. Did that 2 weeks ago against SMU.
Well, let me piggyback on that a little bit, and also Tony's comment about Des Ritter and knowing when to scramble. We mentioned he's got the 12 carries for 103 yards, but Brad Ellis, our stats guy, points out that on the 4 scrambles, not every run, just the 4 times when he had to scramble, 62 yards, and that one of those is that 32-yard touchdown he had in the first half. So that's impressive. He got out of there, avoided 4 sacks, ended up getting 62 yards on those 4 runs.
So 3 touchdown runs, 1 touchdown pass for Desmond Ritter. 3rd game in a row he's had a hand in at least 4 touchdowns. Cole Smith ready to kick it off. Nathaniel Dell hoping for an opportunity to return. I don't think he's going to have one. He will not. And Houston will have it at the 25-yard line. Coming into the game, Cole Smith was getting touchbacks on about 1/3 of his kickoffs. And in fairness to him, that's not always the goal. Sometimes they're trying to kick it high and a little bit shorter to pin the opposition inside the 25.
Watching a replay of one of the scrambles, and there was 3 Cougar defenders around Des Ritter, all 3 of them ready to sack him, and he realized that was coming and got the ball up the field.
On 1st and 10, it's a handoff, and Ty Van Fossen was right there at the mesh point to tackle the ball carrier. I mean, he barely had it in his belly when Ty Van Fossen hopped on him like it was a piggyback ride for a loss of a yard on the play to Mulbacar.
Almost took down Carr, the running back. And Toon, the quarterback, in the same tackle.
2nd down and 11. High shotgun snap caught by Toon. Inches up in the pocket. Now fires deep downfield. He's got a man open. And it's incomplete. Jeremy Singleton failed to come down to the ball at the Cincinnati 30-yard line. And now there's a very late penalty flag.
Brian Cook's going to get a taunting foul on this one, a personal foul. He got up. They knocked the ball away. He got up over the guy and signaled, just basically gave an incompletion signal, but that's going to get you penalty anytime when you stand over a guy. Now we've got the receiver. I believe it's the Houston player down still. Yep.
Along with Javon Hicks.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 6, the defense. His first of the game. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So knocked the ball away, and Brian Cook got up and signaled right over the top of the receiver. In this case, that was Jeremy Singleton. And he just made an incompletion. Nothing obscene, or sometimes there's been people that do other things, but in this case, just signaled incompletion.
Timeout.
And anyway, that got the penalty.
Javon Hicks, the junior from Coleraine High School, is standing up and walking slowly toward the Bearcats sideline. And now Singleton, the wide receiver, is on his way toward the Cougars sideline. We have a timeout, 13:41 left. It's Cincinnati 38, Houston 10. You're listening to Bearcat Football, presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW. Gators hold on and win. That would be 2 losses for Georgia, and they would be out of consideration for the 14 playoff.
Yeah, but then you got Florida in there, Texas A&M right behind the Bearcats right now, another SEC team. So there's a lot going on, and you got, of course, the Clemson-Notre Dame game, and it's I don't know, it's hard not to talk about it. But if you go by the Luke Fickell rule, he would be telling us to shut up right now.
Florida does have a loss, albeit a 3-point loss to a good team.
Yeah,
Texas A&M.
Lot more football to be played, but a lot can happen.
First thing the Bearcats have to do is keep winning.
Yep.
And they're up 38-10 with 13:41 to go. Houston has the ball.
The penalty didn't help. The Bearcats had a really good day going. Just the 3 false start penalties, where they hit a streak there where they got 3 of them, almost not back to back, but not too far apart, and penalty free until that personal foul on Brian Cook.
Hicks out after being injured on the previous play. Here's a deep throw, well covered by Kobe Bryant, and he almost had an interception. The offensive player had to turn into a defensive back, kind of raked the ball away from Kobe Bryant, who comes up limping a little bit.
That's exactly what it was. The receiver becomes defender in that particular case. Kobe Bryant right there. Good coverage all the way.
Keith Corbin was the player that broke up the
Corbin.
pick. Yep. Bearcat safeties right now are Derek Forrest and Brian Cook, after James Wiggins left early with a shoulder injury. And now Javon Hicks is out for the time being. 2nd and 10 from the 39. Play action fake. Toon throws over the middle, and it's deflected and intercepted by Derek Forrest at the 49-yard line.
Well, it was a matter of time before the pressure got to Clayton Toon. Not only that, it was enough. They made him throw the ball quick there. And secondly, there was great under coverage that time. Ball was tipped, and Derek Forrest coming up from the backside from his safety position, able to make that interception. So turnover.
The safeties combining for that one. Brian Cook tipped it. Derek Forrest picked it.
Well done. Turnover margin +1 for the Bearcats now.
First interception of the year for senior Derek Forrest from Columbus, the 5th of his Bearcat career. He was a first-team all-conference performer a year ago, Mr. Consistent on the Cincinnati defense, and we're going to have a change at quarterback as Ben Bryant will take over. Desmond Ritter done for the day with a 38-10 lead. Bryant is in, catches the shotgun snap, hands it off to Ford, and Jerome is tackled at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think what Houston's doing right now, okay, new quarterback, running backs has a few carries but hasn't been in there that much. These guys are just going to run the ball and take some time off the clock, and that's the way we're going to play our defense. Let's see if Mike Denbrock, offensive coordinator for the Bearcats, sees that and allows Ben Bryant to throw the football.
5 subs are in on the offensive line for Cincinnati. Jakari Robinson now at center. Of course, he's been a starter much of the last 2 years. Bryant hands it off. Big hole opens up left side for Jerome Ford. Tried to cut it back near the numerals. Almost got by Marcus Jones, who managed to make the tackle at the 43. A gain of 9.
Yeah, if he'd have kept going, he'd have had the first down, but at the same time, I understand where he came from. He was coming from there. If he makes that cutback and breaks through that ankle tackle with Brown, he's got a lot more yards. So 3rd and 1, big one here for the Bearcats.
Almost everybody on the field is a sub right now for Cincinnati, with the exception of Jay Sean Jackson, lining up in the slot to the right. Delron Donaldson in the game. He goes in motion.
Yeah, another false start there.
Lorenz Metz, I believe, at left tackle.
Yes, it was. That hurts.
False start. Number 51. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Big problem for the German Giant last year.
It was last year. You're looking at a 3rd and 1 and a 3rd and 6. Those are drastically different play calls.
Bearcats are at the 48-yard line of Houston. Ben Bryant ready for the shotgun snap. Jackson goes in motion. Bryant back to throw against the blitz. Throws before getting smashed. Delivered the ball to Jerome Ford. Ford makes it to the Houston 45. He's 3 yards short of a first down.
Yeah, this is a interesting situation here. Too long, way too long for a field goal. Certainly James Smith, with his accuracy, would be good from here. But it looks like the Bearcats are going to go for it at 4th and 4. Or at least let the clock run down quite a bit, take some time off the clock, maybe call a timeout. But with 18 seconds to go, they're lining up to run this play.
11:28 left in the game. Cincinnati up by 4 touchdowns. Houston moving up front. Bearcats don't jump this time. Bryant ready with a play clock at 5. Trying to draw Houston offside. Now the Bearcats will call a timeout.
They were very close to getting it there.
Break.
We'll take a break. 11:16 left. Cincinnati 38 and Houston 10. You're listening to Bearcat Football, presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW.
most teams over 200 yards, in SMU's case, 250 yards below their game average. Today, total offense, what's Houston? 503 is their average coming in. They're at 211. So they are almost 280 yards under their average. Now, again, there's more football to play, but as Tony made a comment before, the defense hasn't looked great today, but you've held a team for, 280 yards under their average. That's impressive.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
James Smith into punt. Marcus Jones back to catch. See if James can pin one inside the 10. Had one bounce into the end zone for just the third time in his career earlier today. This one's going to be fair caught. There are penalty flags down. It's fair caught at the 13-yard line.
I'm wondering, did Houston have too many guys on the field? They're off the sideline now, so I can't do that. Nah, this is a spot foul, so he saw something. I thought maybe it came from the back judge or the side judge over there. I thought maybe he was doing a count, and Houston had too many. That would have given Cincinnati a first down and a 5-yard penalty, but that's not the case.
They hold the gunner or something like that?
And not sure. Here comes the call.
During the kick, holding, number 39, receiving team. Half the distance to the goal line, and into the kick, 1st and 10.
Minus the time that punt took, check out this time of possession for the second half. Cincinnati so far, and again, we got 11 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the game here in the fourth quarter, of course. 15 minutes and 12 seconds. Houston, 3 minutes and 32 seconds in the second half. 3 minutes they've had it.
Pretty decisive. 11:09 to go. Cincinnati on top, 38-10. Bearcats still have starters in on defense.
Yeah, they do.
They've subbed in pretty much every spot on offense, but not many on D yet. From the 7-yard line, it's a running play for Mulba Carr. He's got a hole left side. He's to the 15, and Sauce Gardner will wrestle him to the ground. Good tackle by Sauce at the 16. It is a 9-yard gain.
Yeah, didn't get the first down, but Nate Lawler there as well. Good job getting some playing time.
Sauce Gardner is a remarkably good tackler.
Yes, he
for
is.
somebody with his physique. He's so skinny. His legs look like matchsticks. His arms look skinnier than that, but he's not afraid to be aggressive as a tackler. 2nd and 1 from the 16. Clayton Toon wants to throw it. Fires, and it is caught at the 32-yard line. Heath Corbin trying to run toward the Bearcats sideline. Kobe Bryant shoves him out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
Yeah,
no
Kobe
penalty
Bryant.
flag down.
Yeah, he's talking to the official about that. It was a straight arm, I get that, but it's up in the face mask area, and right in front of an official there, wasn't called.
Kobe limping a bit. He'll come out of the game, and he'll be replaced by Justin Harris. Top-rated cornerback in the state of Ohio, coming out of high school at Huber Heights, Wayne. Short throw over the middle. It is bobbled, then caught by the tight end. And he's going to pick up 11 yards as a first down. Nice juggling catch by Christian Trahan. His third catch of the game.
Houston finding a little rhythm there. That ball tipped by Trahan. He was able to keep running, and it fell right back into his arms.
Justin Harris stays in at corner with Kobe Bryant out. So the Bearcats have had 3 members of the secondary go down today. Here's a short pass caught by the same receiver, Trahan, brought down by Brian Cook after a 4-yard pickup.
Yeah, Houston in a little bit of tempo here, getting to the line quickly, calling the plays quickly. Yeah, secondary's taking some knocks today. A couple of guys banged up.
Tell you one thing, when the Bearcats face UCF in a couple of weeks, they're going to have to be able to apply more pressure on the quarterback than they've been able to do so far today. Here's a running play up the middle. Porter almost lost the ball.
Boy, did that bounce back into his arm?
He's got it.
Oh, he got it. Yeah,
picks up a first down at the 38-yard line.
Looked like it was ripped out and bounced right back up to him. Maybe not. Maybe he just bobbled it.
7 yards on the run. Clock running with 9 minutes to go. Cougars have marched from their own 7 to the Cincinnati 38. Toon drops back to pass. 3-step drop. Plenty of time. Slings it sideways into the flat, and Porter is decked immediately by Huber after the catch. Or Van Fossen,
Van Fossen, right. Nicely done. Could see that one coming. Pass out into the flat. Van Fossen read it all the way and was right there as the receiver caught the ball. Tailback, running back.
It's a 5-yard loss on the play. So 2nd and 15 at the Cincinnati 43-yard line. Clayton Tune claps his hands, catches a shoulder-high snap, draw play handoff to Porter, and he'll be brought down by Van Fossen and Wilson Huber at the 41-yard line.
They got a little bit of that yardage back on the loss, on the pass for a loss. Only a 2-yard gain, though. Nice closing speed there by Will Huber.
Ethan Tuckey checks in as a pass rusher. I.J. Sanders and Tuckey will go after Clayton Tune. Receiver goes in jet motion. That's McGowan. He'll line up as one of 3 receivers out to the right. 3rd down and 13 at the Cincinnati 41. The Bearcats have a 28-point fourth quarter lead. 7 minutes and 39 seconds to go. Play clock at 4. Clayton Tune ready. Extends the hands. Catches the shotgun snap. 4-man rush. Pressure applied. Tune rolling out. Throws, and it's incomplete at the 15-yard line.
Great coverage down there by Taj Ward. Nice job. Clayton Tune rolling, kind of panicking there, rolled out to the right, just had to throw the ball in that direction, and they will force Houston to punt.
Not sure why Houston wouldn't go for it at this point.
That's kind of why I said that. I am extremely surprised.
Try to pin the Bearcats inside the 10. Brian Montgomery waiting at the 9 for Lane Wilkins' punt. Left-footed boot, kind of off the side of the foot. That one is going to spin inside the 20. Got a friendly bounce, and it goes out near the 10. Not well struck, but a good result. 31 yards out of bounds at the 10-yard line. 7:18 to go. We'll take a timeout. 38-10. Cincinnati has the lead, and this is Bearcat football presented by R&L Carriers on News Radio 700 WLW. The fourth quarter closing in on their 6th consecutive win this year. Houston in danger of falling to 2-3. We go down to Tony.
Look at this Bearcats team, and obviously the stretch run they've had all the way going back to Army with shutting down and not allowing an offensive touchdown. What they've done the last 2 weeks. Today could be even more impressive. They haven't played their sharpest. They're missing players in the secondary. You watch the game live and you think, man, it just doesn't feel like the same energy. It doesn't feel like this team is as sharp, and yet we look up and the Bearcats are closing in on 500 offensive yards. The defense has given up 10 points, 1 touchdown again. That's the sign of a really good team, and for Luke Fickell, you got to imagine this is best case scenario because you're going to get out of here with a win, and at the same time you've got some stuff to work on a short week for your team against East Carolina.
Excellent points. Cincinnati has 485 yards of offense. Houston has 263. Score is 38-10 Bearcats. Jared Dokes, the big star today, 16 carries, 184 yards on the ground. He also had 3 catches for 30 yards, so he accounted for more than 200 yards of offense. and the 184 rushing yards, a new career high for the junior from Lawrence Central High in Indianapolis. Jared's done. Desmond Ritter is done. Ben Bryant is in at quarterback. Jerome Ford is the tailback. Bearcats have 5 subs in on the offensive line as they hand it off to Ford. He's got running room around the right corner, sprinting down the sideline for a first down and more. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 26 after a 16-yard run.
Well, that will put the Bearcats over that magic 500-yard mark, total offense that Tony just brought up. Well done by Ford. Knew that he could get to the edge and used it until he was shoved out of bounds.
43 rushing yards for Jerome so far today, after he had a $116 last week. And most of his rushing yards last week came in the fourth quarter. 6:45 to go. Bryant fakes the handoff, short pass, caught by Wiley, and he'll be tackled after a short gain at the 28. 2 yards to Josh Wiley, who has a career high with 5 catches today.
Yeah, not much at all there that time. Houston playing up this time, just basically playing the run. And get a guy like Wiley out in a little flat like that. That's the run pass option that we saw Ritter complete both to Leonard Taylor and to Wiley earlier in the game. Nice job by Ben Bryant of at least getting some yardage out of it.
Wide receivers right now, Dalrone Donaldson looking for his first career catch as a Bearcat, and true freshman Tyler Scott. Bryant hands it off to Ryan Montgomery, zigs and zags, and makes it up to about the 30. 2 yards on the run for Ryan.
Going to leave third and be 3rd and 6, leave 6 yards. Montgomery with a nice little move right at the line of scrimmage to get anything there.
Looked a little like Barry Sanders the way he
Yeah.
was wiggling those shoulders. Cincinnati letting the play clock wind down inside of 10 on every play. They snap it back to Bryant, swings it out to Montgomery, and he'll be upended short of the first down as Ryan goes down at the 32-yard line.
Bearcats happy to punt the ball away here. They'll take some time off the clock, as you indicated, Dan. Let James Smith come in and blast one here. Ball at the Cincinnati 32, so he's got plenty of room here to let this one fly.
Ben Bryant 3 for 3 since coming in on short throws. I had the opportunity to interview James Smith for the Bearcats Insider TV show this week. I asked him the following question. If I said to you, punt at 45 yards, or punt at 41 yards, or punt at 37 yards, how close could you come? He said, within a yard. And he meant it. It's incredible. The touch he has on those pin the team inside the 20 or 10 type punts is truly phenomenal.
You mentioned earlier his 3rd touchback of his career today. That one could have been avoided. Yes, you have to count on your teammates sometime. Kobe Bryant was down there, just lost track of where the football was. And Kobe was standing at the 1, but in the wrong kind of third of the field, and the ball went in behind Kobe and went into the end zone, where he could have, that ball could have been down at the 1.
As it is, James has punted 3 times today, averaging 43.3. Came into the game averaging just under 45. Here comes his left-footed punt. He lets this one rip. It's going to bounce, stays on the field of play, and will trickle to a stop at the 24-yard line. 44 yards, no return, and the Cougars take over at their own 24 with 4.5 minutes to go.
Plenty of height and decent distance. Flag down. See what this call is.
Back near the original line of scrimmage.
Here in the kick, holding, number 28, receiving team. 10-yard penalty for the end of the kick. First down.
2 in a row on punts. Holding penalties against Houston.
And we'll take Houston back to the 14, to their own 14. 4:33 to go. See if they make any switches in personnel.
This is Dana Holgerson's second year as Houston's head coach after spending 8 at West Virginia. Lured away with a 5-year, $20 million deal Thanks to billionaire Tillman Fertitta, who's on the Board of Regents at Houston, the owner of the Houston Rockets, and obviously a big supporter of Houston Cougars athletics. The basketball arena was renovated. That is now the Fertitta Center. Here's a running play to the left. New running back has come into the game. First carry for Chandler Smith, and he dashes for about 8.
It got to the edge. The left side collapsed, and he was able to get to the outside.
Houston in no hurry now, trailing 38-10 with 4:05 to go. Clayton Tune ready for a shotgun snap. Chandler Smith lines up to his right. Tune will drop back to pass. Cincinnati applies some pressure. His throw is incomplete as he got hit at the end of that play.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened there. Is that Jabari Taylor? Nope. That was Elijah Ponder that got him right as he let that ball go.
The Bearcats have a mix of starters and second teamers in on defense. Here's a run to the left.
No.
And a tackle in the backfield by Van Fossen.
Yes, another tackle for loss. Well, actually no gain. Sorry about that. Not a tackle for a loss. It's going to be close. I think there might have been a hair of a gain on that one, but not a full yard. So it's 4th down.
Ty Van Fossen having a good game. From Luke Fickell's high school alma mater, Columbus DeSales. Here's a quarterback sneak on 4th and 1, and it looks like the Cougars have it.
They're giving it to him, sure.
Clock continues to run, 3.5 minutes to go. 38-10, Cincinnati. Clayton Tune has gone the distance. The backup quarterback for Houston is the coach's son, Logan Holgerson. Clayton Tune back to pass. Scrambling left. Being chased by Taylor. Throws it back toward the middle of the field. Dangerous throw. Yeah. And it's incomplete.
Very dangerous. And Houston lucky that they got away with that one. And good pressure that time on Tune. You can see why he's a threat to run the football. He can get away from pressure and get out of the pocket, which is what he did there. So Tune now 18 out of 30 for 181 yards.
Sophomore Jacob Dingle had a shot at a pick there. Good to see Jacob on the field. Sophomore from Louisville. Son of a former Bearcat.
Yes,
now
sir.
Ty Van Fossen is in the backfield for another tackle for loss as he drills Chandler Smith. It's a coming out party for Ty Van Fossen.
Well, of course, he had that fumble recovery that James Wiggins stripped the ball from Brady White last week. Boy, he's done a great job today. You're absolutely right, Dan.
Clayton Tune back to throw. His pass caught over the middle, crossing route to Chandler Smith, and he is going to pick up a first down for the Houston Cougars.
Bearcats will send their run support team back in. Van Fossen, one of those guys coming back in the game. Tune going to get a few more plays here to throw the ball maybe, but he's being held over 110 yards under his game average as well in the passing yards. 192 on the day for Tune.
1:55 on the clock. Tune with a short pass, and he misses Chandler Smith. Incomplete to stop the clock with 1:51 to go.
Tune came in averaging 303 yards a game through the air.
38-10 Cincinnati, 1:51 left. Bearcats about to improve to 6-0 and extend the Nippert Stadium winning streak to 18 consecutive games. On 2nd and 10, Tune fakes a handoff, under pressure, gets away from a hit, now throws downfield, and it's too high, incomplete. Trying to feed it down there to wide receiver Ja'Cory Morgan, who was covered by Jacob Dingle.
Yeah, nice job by Dingle. He was right there. And pressure again getting to Tune. He forced to run out of the pocket here. He's not taking any hits or he's not taking any sacks, but he's trying to throw on the run, and that's always a dangerous situation.
1:43 on the clock. 3rd down and 10. Clayton Tune extends the hands, claps, catches the shotgun snap. Throws it into the flat out to the right, and Ty Van Fossen makes another tackle for loss. What a day for Ty Van Fossen.
4th and 14. Will Houston punt for the 7th time? Appears that way. Maybe Ryan Montgomery can get some return yards this time.
So it is 4th down and 14, and we will see Lane Wilkins yet again. Ryan Montgomery goes back to receive this punt with about 70 seconds on the clock. Jacob Garza snaps it back. Wilkins takes his time. This spiral is blasted. It turns over. Montgomery races back to the 15-yard line to catch it with 53 seconds remaining. A 53-yard punt. The Bearcats will snap it one more time in the victory formation, you would think, and improve to 6-0.
Yeah, nice punt. So kind of finishing off the 3rd down conversions there. Houston came in at 45%. The Bearcats were giving up 33%. Guess where Houston finished today? 33% on 3rd down conversions. Nice job, defense.
Ben Bryant leads the offense out there at the 15-yard line, and looks like the Bearcats will line up in the victory formation. Ryan Montgomery will be the guy behind the play, just in case there's a bad snap or something like that. Donaldson goes in motion. No, it's going to be a handoff to Ryan Montgomery, and that didn't work very well as he gets tackled for a loss by Derek Parrish.
Yeah, they will have to run another play. Maybe this will be the victory formation. Maybe not.
Yes, when you have guys like Ryan Montgomery that are good players and don't get many opportunities, I like to give it to them once or twice when you can. .23 seconds to go. Bryant hands it to Montgomery again. He'll be pulled down at the 18-yard line after a 3-yard run, and that will do it. Luke Fickell beginning to walk out toward the middle of the field, where he won't shake hands with Dana Holgerson due to COVID-19, but they will acknowledge each other. Maybe a forearm bump, something like that, an elbow bump.
It was. Tap on the shoulder from Holgerson to Fickell.
Masks on, of course, as the Bearcats improve to 6-0 with another lopsided win. The margin 4 touchdowns today as Cincinnati beats Houston 38-10. Stay tuned for the postgame show coming up. You've been listening to Bearcat Football presented by R+L Carriers on News Radio